Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of YouTube Take. I am your host, the illustrious, grandiosus, undefeated on his YouTube Take record, Big Rat 310.
Unless you count the books.
With my two guests.
I'm not going any further with this show until you do what you're supposed to, kid.
Do it. I'm over here, but I'm listening.
TJ Yeldon is better than Duke Johnson.
Thank you.
But you still really don't watch college football.
Oh, yeah, that is right. Yeah, because y'all both had a better record than me, so.
Right.
Or did y'all both?
I mean, I don't know if we ended up. I mean, I'll look it up I should have.
I know I finished 23-12. I know that.
We probably didn't finish that well. I have it on my laptop, so I'll look it up right now. But I'll look it up while you're going off. But please introduce yourself, stranger.
Oh yeah, Nightmareballa1. Sorry about that.
And yours truly, Nightmare 88, 10, 26, whatever.
For those wondering, when have you ever fucking been called Nightmare 26?
26 is my gamer. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, really?
You know what?
Oh, shit. You know how many friend requests you
No, you know what? It doesn't matter. I get like 8 every time I log in, so apparently I did it already, so it's out there already anyway.
Check out the YouTube Take celebrity Philip Bayless at Nightmare26 on what console?
Yeah. That would be the Wii U.
Seriously? Asshole. What's your actual gamer tag? I mean, what's your actual console?
Xbox 360.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like ever since back in the day when I used to upload Third Strike vids, Nightmareballa1 has been getting hit up a lot on PSN too. So if y'all want to get killed at Street Fighter, Marvel, or Third Strike, hit me up. If you want to die.
I beat his ass last week. Don't believe him.
What'd he say?
I said
don't even mark.
All right. Cool. Anyways, this is going to be a very passionate episode of YouTube Take. In fact, we only have 3 topics, but all 3 could take a while because we all have a lot to say. Markeem, I know you've been begging for the chance. What the fuck happened in the BCS championship game?
All right, 2 things will happen right now. I will praise Alabama and then I will bury all SEC fans in the course of this rant. All right. First, I want the positive first. I want to say to Notre Dame, y'all had a phenomenal season. Y'all took me on a wild ride. Nobody expected y'all to even be there last night. And the fact y'all were even there is enough in itself. But it showed that, and this is not SEC dominance, this is truly Alabama is bigger and more physical than anyone the game has, pretty much. That may possibly be the best offensive line to ever play on the college level. I've been racking my brain to think about it. The Orlando Pacers team back when he was with Ohio State, that may be up there. The 98, the whole era, the Peyton Manning, post-Peyton Manning era at Tennessee, they might be up there. Archie Griffin's teams back in the 70s, they might be up there. But A.J. McCarron against the best front 7 in college football had all day to throw last night. And the thing is that last night he looked like Aaron Rodgers. Let's be real. You know what I mean? And the thing is that he's not even that great of a QB. You know what I mean? If y'all notice, it was pretty much play action rollout. He checked 2 guys and then bam. And it took him all day to do that at times because he's really not that great. But that offensive line protected him so well. Eddie Lacy and TJ Yeldon are absolute monsters. And it's hard to contain them when you're only getting 1 or 2 guys behind the line of scrimmage to do anything to them, especially with Lacy being so big and them just throwing people down and all that stuff. And I can promise you that the layover and nerves got to Notre Dame also, because Manti Te'o is usually the most emotional guy you will ever see come out on a football field. And last night, he didn't look like that guy. Even before the game, during the first quarter, none of that. You know what I mean? You didn't see any fire from him or anything like that. And he still finished the game with 10 tackles. That's how talented he is. And he didn't play well. He missed 8 tackles, finished the game with 10 tackles. Think about that for a second. And, he was just like, something was off about him. You know what I mean? You could tell their wheel got broken in the first quarter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with the 2 bad referee calls and they were just broken. Like between the run killing them and it's just everything that like they could do. They literally could do nothing with that offensive line. And I was actually wrong because I thought that most of them were banged up. Barrett Jones, who I think, even though I love Chance Formack, dude is very talented. Barrett Jones, who to me is hands down their best offensive lineman, might be the leader overall of that team. To be honest with you, he had a broken foot last night. Didn't look like it. He took on Knicks one-on-one the entire game and pretty much just held him. You know what I mean, Knicks didn't do anything. Prince Shimbo didn't do nothing either. You know what I mean, it was pretty dominant, a pretty dominant performance by the offensive line. And being the I wouldn't say college football expert because I'm not that arrogant, but being out of the three of us, being the guy that has been heavy into college sports, not just college football. And by the way, Missouri looked really good tonight. But anyway, Nick Saban is now top 3 all time, and I don't think it's debatable. Yeah, you got Leahy back in the day with Notre Dame, Philip Fulmer, his dominance during the 90s at Tennessee. Joe Paterno, Rick Pitino, that's basketball. Joe Paterno for years and years with the model of consistency he was at Penn State. You know what I mean? But I feel like the top 3 is pretty simple. And I feel like it's not debatable. There's no other coaches you can even interchange. Now I feel like Nick Saban is in that group, hands down, top 3 all time. And that's Bear Bryant, Bobby Bowden, and the reason why I say Bobby Bowden is because he took a relevant program at Florida State and made it the most dominant program for an entire decade and a half. It took them 8 years before they lost the ACC conference game. A lot of people don't even know that. Wow. But think about that shit for a second. And, just so dominant, so how many national championship appearances? I think like 4 or 5, something like that. He has what, two titles. What's the name? Bowden was dominant. You know what I mean? And I feel like right after that, Saban, man, 4 rings, 3 out of 4 at Alabama, and a lot of people. And let me get on this shit real quick before I get on the SEC fans. Where did all these Alabama fans come from? How many people realize how bad they were before Saban got there? They were awful. That's what makes it so remarkable what Saban has done. After Bear Bryant.
Time out. Markeem, what did you say your record was again in the bowls?
23-12.
Philip Bayless finished 22-13. So you edged him out just barely.
Dang it! I knew I should have picked Alabama.
What about you, kid?
I finished at my pretty much traditional record of the year. I finished at 17-19, a game below 500, like my Miami Dolphins.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but continue after Bear Bryant.
Yeah. But after Bear Bryant, there was a little era in the early 90s where like they were really good. You know what I mean? But aside from that, though, they were awful. And I know y'all saw Twitter last night. It was disrespectful how many people like this is why I get so upset. Because how many people did y'all see tweet about the game that have never tweeted about any game all season? And then how many Roll Tide tweets did you see last night? It was ridiculous.
I saw like a lot on Facebook, more on Facebook. God.
Yeah, but, I mean, either way, you know what I mean? How many and think about it, Phil. Of all those people you saw, how many times have they tweeted about any game all year?
Well, one, they haven't tweeted outside. Either they haven't tweeted outside of Carolina or Clemson game, or they haven't tweeted at all. So
thank you.
or Facebooked at all, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people don't even know about the Jim Mora era at not Jim Mora, Mike Shula era at at Alabama, where he was average and they pretty much kicked him out the door. A lot of people don't even know that. A whole lot of people don't even know that Urban Meyer almost ended up at Alabama. I bet niggas don't even remember that shit. You don't remember that, do y'all? Yeah. And all these motherfuckers out of nowhere, they're Tide fans. They probably couldn't tell you who Bear Bryant was. They couldn't tell you that this man won 12 SEC titles, 6 national championships, the greatest coach in the history of any sort of football ever. They couldn't tell you anything about him, but they all of a sudden it's Roll Tide. Fuck every single one of you that put Roll Tide on your Twitter account.
Roll Tide, baby!
It was annoying. It was anyway. Okay, but like I said, Nick Saban, top 3 all time.
Real quick, Markeem. Not to interrupt, but I'll let you get back. But Urban Meyer, if he was to win, where do you think he ranks right now? I was just curious.
You said Urban Meyer?
Yeah, obviously he's not top 5, but
maybe if you think about it. That's a good question, Phil.
I thought about it while you were talking. So.
Larry Coker.
Oh, shut up.
You know, the coach of the greatest team in college football history gets no respect. Okay.
I mean, because look at the squad he had, kid. Come on. He didn't have the coach. He could have just stood there. But hey, y'all just go out there and do y'all. I mean, he had Ken Dorsey at quarterback. Probably the second best Miami quarterback of all time. Can we agree with that, kid?
When it comes to just University of Miami, yeah.
Yeah, just University of Miami.
Yeah, okay.
And, you know, and he had Gore as a reserve, and Willis McGahee was a backup, and he had Clint Portis as the starting running back. He had Andre Johnson at receiver.
Ed
he
Reed.
had Shockey, Keller Winslow Jr.
Ed Reed.
Oh yeah, Ed Reed at safety. He had Jonathan Vilma. Come on, son, shut up.
Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor was a backup. Vince Wilfork was on that team. Shut up, kid. Shut up. Just stop. He didn't coach at all. He gets zero respect. He gets none. Zero. But anyway, you didn't threw me all off. Yeah, you know, I don't know, Phil, though, but I would say Bryant, number 1, of course. Bobby Bowden, Nick Saban.
Gene Chisholm.
Maybe like Tom Osborne at 4.
Les Miles. Les Miles?
No. Urban Meyer is way ahead of Les Miles. Probably Tom Leahy at number 5. And then Urban Meyer probably right after that. I would say of all the coaches with 2 rings, I would say he's the best. Well, not counting Bowden. Minus Bowden. After that, I would say he's the best. I would say, you know what? I put Paterno ahead of him and then him. Paterno is like right at 6, and then him. Just because Paterno had an era where they were pretty bad. You know what I mean? Like, if I really had to think about it, like, you remember, because Penn State was awful for like a long time.
Yeah.
So, you know, but Meyer has not been awful anywhere he's been. So, you know, even though he hasn't been coaching that long, I feel like in the shortest amount of time, he's accomplished the most. I would say that.
And I think he's going to, you know, as much as I hate Ohio State, you know, he's probably going to do more there too. So,
yeah, like, you know, I don't be shocked. Like 2 years from now, they winning a national championship. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But yeah.
But wait, Markeem, they're not from the SEC.
Oh, then that's exactly where I'm going now.
Leave it in.
SEC fans, I'm about to build y'all up and destroy y'all all at the same time. I bet a lot of you don't even know that in total the SEC actually has 9 BCS championships. I bet y'all didn't know that, minus the 7 y'all always talk about. They actually have 9. And the other 2 were Philip Fulmer at Tennessee and Nick Saban at LSU. A lot of y'all didn't even know that. Huh?
Oh, I was saying this. I was trying to say it before you said it. Nick Saban, LSU.
Oh.
Just keep going.
Yeah. A lot of motherfuckers don't even know that. But let's break down the 7.
Wait, Markeem, where did Bear Bryant coach?
Bear Bryant was at Alabama. Most of his career, he was at what was it, Kentucky and Alabama.
So he didn't win. I thought you said he won titles.
Yeah, but I'm saying BCS.
Oh, BCS. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Sorry. Here we go. Here we go. But this is how I'm going to diffuse that whole SEC dominance argument. Okay, let's just talk about the 7 that they have. You know what I mean? And you know, we can even throw in the other 2. Okay, let's throw in the other 2. Okay, take Philip Fulmer, who was at Tennessee for since like the late 80s. You know what I mean? Stayed until, what was it, 2008, I think? I can't remember. 2008, I think. And, you know, he has, 1 national title? I mean, he had Peyton Manning for 4 years, but has 1 national title. And a lot of people don't even know this. the SEC has been the best conference in the country for 14 years, actually. But wait a second. They only have 9 BCS titles, but they've been the best conference in the country for 14 years. It is not the SEC. It is the coaches and the programs. Good example of this. 5 of the 7 straight they have won have been by 2 programs. 2 coaches, 2 programs. That's 5 of the 7. The other 2 was by LSU with all of pretty much with Les Miles, with all of Nick Saban's seniors. No disrespect to Les Miles because he's an incredible coach, but that was all of Nick Saban's seniors that he recruited, and they won a national championship. That's what happened. and then 2010 had possibly the best single season by a college quarterback ever in Cam Newton. So come on, son. Like what is like? It's not the SEC. It is these programs and these coaches. You know what I mean? If it was the SEC, South Carolina would have been South Carolina would have won a title by now. You know what I mean? It would have happened. Like since Spurrier's been there, they haven't even won the conference yet. South Carolina would have won a title now.
They haven't even won the East yet, have they?
They have.
Yeah, they won 1 year. They did.
I think that was 2009. I think.
Yeah.
But you know they would have won the conference by now. And that's not a shock because I feel like Spurrier has done a phenomenal job here because people weren't even talking about football here until Spurrier. Like Lou Holtz, I think kind of bought it back and bought it up because South Carolina was like irrelevant, and then they got a coach like Lou Holtz, and it was like a big deal because you know what he did at Notre Dame, and Spurrier has kind of took what Lou Holtz did and just took it to another level. So I feel like he deserves a lot of credit for that. Not trying to discredit him by that statement, but what was I saying? Yeah, Texas A&M was a Big 12 team last year. This is a Big 12 team, and they beat the team that just won the national championship. You know what I mean? It is not about the conference. Anyone in the country can play with. Well, if you're a great team, you are a great team regardless. You know what I mean? Notre Dame went out there last night. They didn't play against fucking who was that just got fired from Auburn?
Gene Chizik.
Yeah, Gene Chizik. They didn't play against Gene Chizik and a bunch of bums. And a lot of people don't even remember that the Oregon game against Cam Newton and them was actually the closest games in recent memory. A lot of people don't even talk about that. But anyway, they didn't go out there and play against Gene Chizik and a bunch of bums. They played against one of arguably the greatest college coach of all time with the best offensive line ever put together and got blown out because that offensive line was a lot better than even I gave it credit for. Y'all really think about it this way, okay? If they were so physically dominant, why, even though they dominated time of possession because of the running game, why was Notre Dame, like Everett Golston, still ended up with an okay game? You know what I mean? The thing that pissed me off last night was Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly did everything on offense that they don't usually do. He didn't establish the run at all. They kept attacking
D.
what's
Milner.
his name?
D. Milner.
You said what?
D. Milner.
Yeah, there you go. D. Milner. Like he's a second team All-American. One of the best corners in the country. And that's the side they attacked the entire game. They didn't throw the Eifert enough. It's like every advantage they have, every advantage they had on offense, they didn't exploit it at all. I thought Mike Golick and all them, but Mike Golick Jr. and all them boys played an amazing game up front because minus that one play in the second half, they did a decent job. Well, they did a really good job against that front seven of protecting Golston. I thought they did a really good job. Because I thought they would be the ones to get bullied the entire game, not the Notre Dame defense. Like, it is the game plan of Nick Saban and his recruiting. Has nothing to do with the region he plays in. But I wasn't done though. I wasn't done. Now South Carolina would have won the SEC by now. Tennessee, with all the talent they get every year, they would have won the SEC by now. Tennessee wasn't even bowl eligible this year, but the SEC is so dominant. People do not realize the SEC is extremely top heavy, and once you get past Bama, LSU, and South Carolina and Florida and Georgia too. I mean, after that, it's pretty, and Texas A&M this year. After that, it's pretty much anybody can beat them. You know what I mean? Anybody can beat them. If Georgia, Georgia almost lost to Nebraska. I thought they go in there and kill Nebraska. And what's his name? Taylor Martinez had the best game of his career against Georgia. But the SEC is so dominant. Can't nobody play with them.
And South Carolina struggled against a Big Ten team.
Exactly.
The Florida Gators almost lost to Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns.
They from the Sun Belt Conference.
They lost to Louisville.
Thank you. And they got destroyed by Louisville. So you telling me Florida, the strong convinced them to go to Louisville. Teddy Bridgewater would be the starter right now for the Florida Gators. But the SEC is so dominant. It comes down to recruiting. The SEC is hands down the best conference in the nation. Y'all will not hear me debate that at all because it is not debatable. You know what I mean? They have 6 teams. They have 6 teams ranked in the top 10 coming into this bowl season. You know what I mean? That's dominance, dog. But it's the top of the conference that is really good. But they aren't unbeatable. The SEC went 6-3 this bowl season. Very good record, the best of all the main conferences. But they went 6-3. They didn't go 9-0. They went 6-3. It wasn't like last year. Well, I think they only lost 1 game, bowl season, something like that. Last year, everything people were saying about the SEC was 100% true. That is just simply not the case this year. All these Southeasterners and ESPN need to get off this region of the nation's dick because we have the best high school players, minus maybe California. We have the best high school players, and that's why we get the best recruits. Has nothing to do with anyone else's recruiting. That's why we have the most good teams in one place. That is all. That is it. That has nothing to do with level of competition. If you can recruit well and you are a good coach, you can play with anybody. Are you going to tell me that Stanford could not hang physically could not hang with Alabama? You are retarded. You are retarded. They held a team that averaged 50 points a game to 14. 14 at their own stadium. You telling me that I'm not saying they would not beat Alabama, but I'm saying physically. You're telling me that team couldn't hang with Alabama? You're smoking. You're smoking every sort of drug that has ever been created if you think that. Seriously. Kansas State was going through most of the season scoring 40 to 50 points. You know what I mean? Oregon held them to what? 17? Something like that? 17? Some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me Oregon couldn't hang with look, Oregon plays good enough defense to hold and another thing motherfuckers don't even realize, the SEC is pretty much mediocre offense with pro style defense. You gonna tell me Florida, even though they only finished with 1 loss coming into the bowl season, they were terrible on offense. They were a tremendous rushing team because they had a good offensive line, but they were terrible on offense. Their passing game was pathetic. Like, as much as I like Jeff Driscoll, I think he's going to be a really good player in a couple years. Not now, though. Not now. He is far from it now. Aaron Murray decided to come back because he needs work, and he's considered the best quarterback in the SEC. I don't think he is. I think Tyler Bray was a more talented dude. That's why I hope he does well in the NFL. He was just in a bad situation. But Aaron Murray is considered the best quarterback of all those teams, and he decided to come back. You know what I mean? It is not about the region. That's all I got to say. I'm just well, I'll say this. My 7 championships argument. How can anyone refute that? 4 of the 9 SEC titles are from Nick Saban. You know what I mean? From Nick
exactly.
Almost like 4 out of the 9 SEC BCS titles are Nick Saban's. Come on. And Les Miles may as well be Nick Saban's. So come on, dude. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Oh my God. Okay, Phil, I'm done. Go ahead. I'm done.
No, I mean, I couldn't say it any better than myself. This is the kind of stuff. I mean, me and Markeem were going back and forth on Twitter all night because I knew this was my worst nightmare as far as how this game went, because this is all I was gonna hear. Because I told all the SEC fellow fans, everybody that just watches the SEC apparently, that praises SEC like
apparently, right, Phil?
Apparently, said I knew as soon as I was like, if this goes bad south, I'll be looked at as like a complete and utter idiot, and they'll get praised because they picked an SEC team for the 20,000th time because their team is from the SEC. Look, I am a Gamecock fan. I've been off and on. I'll admit, I've been kind of wishy-washy. I ain't gonna lie. As far as I've kind of dropped them off because of this. This is exactly why I stopped being a Gamecock fan. One, it was because the rivalry with Clemson was boring the crap out of me.
Why? Because it's been so dominant, Bashy?
Yeah.
I think that changed
this was
next
when
year, though.
Clemson was dominating.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Before the dominance of Carolina.
But I do think that changes next year, though. I don't know if they win, but it's not going to be like it was.
I'm a Gamecock fan. It has to. 4 in a row. I mean, or they've already got 4 in a row. So get 5 in a row would just be insane. I think, right? Yeah, anyways, that's not relevant.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened in the rivalry.
Yeah.
Clemson did 4 in a row one time, and Carolina now, so right. I know that.
But anyways, like I'm saying, these guys I think they only watch Gamecock football. I mean, some of these are some of my close friends, but they just don't. I could not convince any of these guys to say Notre Dame had a chance. Not Notre Dame. Notre Dame. I don't care if they thought Notre Dame was going to win. I don't care that this never was about who was going to win. This was about people thought that. Oh, all I heard was Notre Dame was going to get killed. Notre Dame was going to get killed, and I'm like, I can't wait to sit back and laugh at these people. I was praying it go to overtime. That's all I cared about. I didn't care about the result. I was like, go to overtime. Then I want to dare somebody tell me that this team, Notre Dame, isn't legit. And I didn't care. After that, I was like, whatever. And then, of course, my worst nightmare had to happen, and Notre Dame got outplayed on all aspects of the game and just got destroyed. I even said to Markeem, I said, thank you. This is your fault. because you made me believe in a Notre Dame team, and you made me watch them all year. And other teams.
Hey, hold on now, Phil. Most of the season, who didn't believe in them? And then every week they proved me wrong. Right. So it got to the point where I was like, "Fuck it, I see it now. I give up."
Right. Well, I think that's what I'm talking about. Like as far as that transition, I kind of listened to that, and I wanted to watch other teams. I mean, look, you can't. To me, you can't talk a sport if you don't know the whole sport. If you just know your team, I'm sorry, you can't talk it. Talk your team.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil. Talking to trademarking your Giants.
Talk your team and then leave it alone. I mean, that's fine. If you can openly admit that that's all you know, that's fine. But don't try to tell me, like, I'm gonna read you a comment, and this is someone I respect. But so I'm not gonna bash him or anything. But this is, and so Markeem, please be a little respectful. You're gonna really get mad.
It depends on how crazy this is. But go ahead.
So I was on Facebook. I had already said on Facebook earlier that I said tonight Notre Dame proves me right, beats Alabama. And if you think Notre Dame doesn't have a chance against Alabama, you don't watch football. Of course, like after it was 14-0, which by the way, I know you guys have been here before. You know how no one comments on your page until the game is going the way they want it to go.
Of course,
by the way.
Of course, you know that, Phil.
Right. So someone comments on that status saying, someone clearly doesn't watch college football because I said, you don't watch football if you don't think Notre Dame has a chance. But anyways, that was just irrelevant. So then I post after I think it was like I don't even know at what point. I think it was like 28-0. I don't even know at that point. But I was like, Notre Dame is playing their worst game of the year at the worst possible time. So one of the comments ends up being, they're playing their first real football team of the year. And I was like, shake my head.
Oh, my God!
I said that's...
Oh, my eyes! The shit I'm talking about!
I said...
Oh, my Lord!
I said that's simply not true. I was being nice.
It's just not. It's not. It is... Going to Norman, Oklahoma, and destroying Oklahoma means nothing.
Just wait. Listen to this one, Markeem. Then we went back. They said you're clearly not watching the same game I am. I was like, I am. They're getting crushed, but that doesn't mean they haven't played anyone all year. And then they say, they are having to play the big boy football. They are not used to it at all. That's the truth. The teams in the SEC play smash mouth football every week. And you know what I replied with? Tell that to Florida. ...
I agree with his premise, but what he's saying is that them niggas are inferior, and that's bullshit.
Right.
That's bullshit. Like you can tell that's what he meant. You know what I mean? But right. I see what he's saying though, because Notre Dame didn't play the team all year with that. Well, maybe Stanford, but that was like super. All we gonna do is turn, hand the ball off, and stop us. I mean, and then play action is gonna kill you all. I don't think that A.J. McCarron and his girlfriend looks like a fraud, by the way. Beautiful girl. But come on now.
she is ready for that. She's a gold digger. That's what she looks like.
Like you think about it, you really think she gave a shit about football? And she's an Auburn fan. Look, dog.
Did you see her after the game though?
Go ahead, Phil. What you
I was
gonna
just say? Did you see her after the game when he went to go see his when he went up to him?
Oh, he ignored
Yeah.
He ignored her, and she's like, baby, give me a kiss, so the camera will see me. Like that's basically what she was saying.
Like,
it was.
She's Auburn. I don't give a fuck. Like, ain't no love that strong. That's just being real. She met the dude. You know they've been together for what, 2 years now? No, it was a year because they met each other like at an Auburn camp. You know what I mean? And then that's when they met each other. They started dating after AJ McCarron went to Auburn and beat them last year. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous to me. How in God's name? How in the name of Jesus can you go to Auburn? That's the equivalent, real shit. That's the equivalent of Coach K dating Dean Smith's sister or some bullshit like that. You know, like how can you even do that? Like that bitch is a fraud. That bitch is a beautiful fraud. She's a beautiful girl, but she's a fraud. You can tell she ain't no shit. She don't know shit about football at all. Go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. No, you're fine. But basically, I mean, it's just that's the kind of stuff I have to deal with. Like that. I mean, I have to hear this stuff. Like it's you don't know. You just don't. And look, I've been there. I've been back. Probably about I don't know how many years ago. Well, when I first really was into was really following Carolina. I was kind of like that. I was like, oh, that's I guess at the beginning of their little run, like they had won like 3 in a row. And I was like, bam, they're unbeatable, bam. But it's like now it's like I'm a lot smarter and I actually watch other teams. Like there are look, like Markeem was saying, and I understand what this guy that I quoted was saying as far as they go through a gauntlet. That's I think Markeem's used that word before. Like they go through a gauntlet. That's understandable. Maybe Notre Dame hasn't gone through a gauntlet, but to say they have flat out not played anybody, like that's all I heard. Like pregame and after and during the game and all. Notre Dame's finally playing a real team. Blah blah blah. They're playing in the SEC. Them playing in the SEC means nothing. This is Nick Saban.
Thank you.
This is Nick Saban. Even I can see that. Who does? I mean, I don't know a lot about college football. I don't claim to know that. But to say that, like literally, to say Notre Dame, I at least had one person. I was going off back and forth with on Twitter before the game was telling me they haven't played a tough schedule. I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, you do realize this is what gets me right here.
Here's a stat for hold on, Phil. Here's a stat for you I looked up last night just to make sure I was correct about this. Notre Dame has played the toughest schedule in the nation.
Yeah,
the teams that they've played have the most combined wins of anyone else in the nation. So that argument is completely false.
And that's what I said. I said they had the tough. Well, I thought because I didn't like you looked it up, but I didn't really care to look it up. Not these people, but I had looked it up as far as
I'm writing that. I'm writing that on my Facebook page right now.
What?
I'm writing that stat on my Facebook page right now. Carry on.
They had what I told him is I taught that they had the preseason toughest schedule in the nation.
Yeah, that's another one. There you go.
They had that. I knew that. I didn't know as far as what you said, but that backs my point even more. And they're like, he's like, well, and then he's like, they didn't play any real teams, blah blah blah. And I was like, so you're saying Oklahoma is not a real team, Stanford's not a real team, and that's why I just brought up those two mainly. But I mean, USC was ranked first. I know they completely collapsed because of Lane Kiffin, but they were still ranked number 1 preseason, and Notre Dame wasn't ranked at all. And see,
you gonna tell me that team ain't got talent? Huh? Hey, yo, everybody and their mama was picking Matt Barkley to win the Heisman. Like, God, I thought Lane Kiffin would just let him do his thing, but I guess not. But real shit. Everybody was picking Matt Barkley was pretty much the Heisman winner. It was his to lose. You gonna tell me they ain't have talent? Fuck you. Fuck all of you. Fuck you all. Seriously.
And this is what really okay. So I brought up the preseason toughest schedule, right? Yet in the same argument, they brought up to why the SEC is so dominant. And it's actually pieces of different argument, but still. But I brought up preseason rankings as far as like toughest schedule, and they're like, and someone did the same thing brought up. Well, you don't look how many SEC teams were ranked in the were ranked in the top 25 at the beginning of the season. You just told these same people told me that those rankings didn't mean that preseason toughest schedule didn't mean anything. So it's like right there should tell me I should just back away. Like Markeem said, just leave.
And yo, kid, look that up real quick. Look up how many SEC teams were ranked preseason, and let's see how that has changed. I know Arkansas.
I think it was 12.
Definitely.
It was 12, and I think it ended up being like 8 state or something like that. I saw it roughly.
Coming. I'll deliver the stat. Keep on, carry on.
Okay, go ahead. But anyways, it's just I don't like, and if anyone that really knew college football, and no, not that they'll ever listen to this, but I'm saying anyone that really watched college football back in the day, where I would, back at the beginning of this SEC run, when I would be the SEC fan, I apologize to you. And I know if you had the same frustration I'm having, I really apologize for you because this is ridiculous. Like I have to hear this over and over again. SEC, you don't understand. Like I need an SEC team. Like I don't want to root against the SEC. I like watching the SEC, but I have to because these idiots they don't.
See, you have common sense, Phil, and it's just annoying you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look, and this is another thing. Markeem didn't exactly touch on this, but it's kind of the same with when you said Alabama fans coming out of nowhere. Why are you rooting for a fellow SEC team? I don't.
Especially if you're, you know how many Auburn fans I saw tweet "Roll Tide" last night. I was like, "What is wrong with you? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my god! Oh my god!"
Someone posted. I don't know what fan, what kind of fan they were, or who they were a fan of, anyways. But they posted something like, "I would never root for Florida State." I think they were talking about they were a fellow ACC team fan.
What?
I would never.
This is bullshit.
What?
Well, UM wasn't in the top 50 preseason. That's ridiculous.
Anyways, but like,
I mean, kid, hold on, kid. They were extremely young, kid. Like they overachieved all year. They
had so many 5-star recruits come in. They had a top 10 recruiting class.
But kid, they were the youngest team in the nation.
Quiet. Carry on.
But I don't understand. Like, I know this isn't the greatest, but look, all right. I'll say I'll make 2 references. One's not so great. One I think is really good. Do you hear any Pac-12 team fan? Which I know I don't see a lot of them because I live in the South, but all 3 of us do. But you don't see fans of Stanford or USC or the Big Ten in Michigan and Ohio State or the Big 12 in Texas and stuff say, oh. When they lose, you don't see them rooting for Oklahoma. You don't see Texas fans rooting for Texas Tech.
I have never seen a Texas fan in life root for Oklahoma.
Exactly. So I honestly think this is how it is. I honestly think it does not matter. Like South Carolina could get destroyed, which they have in the past. Could get destroyed by any team if they get the national championship. Doesn't matter. You're rooting for them. Doesn't matter. Like that. And then the other thing,
a lot of you, hold on, Phil.
Go ahead,
a lot of these motherfuckers can't even brag. Like you Vanderbilt fans, you can how y'all all of a sudden relevant now, Kentucky fans? You better stick to basketball because don't make me pull out the stat for you. Here's a stat for you. How in God's name do y'all beat Kent State by 21 points? And y'all don't even go to a bowl. Yet Kent State was almost in the BCS. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Seriously, shut up.
I actually saw a Kentucky fan on Facebook post the same thing, Roll Tide, and I was like, I'm just going to keep scrolling.
Like, you need to stop. He needs to, you better shut the fuck up about football. Right?
It was a girl, too, so
last year when Anthony Davis and them was cutting down the nets, that's when you can come out and talk. That's when you can talk. But when it comes to football, shut up. Seriously. Them niggas been a laughing stock since I was a kid. Since Bear Bryant left, they've been a laughing stock. Stop it. Shut up.
And here's the thing. I know that.
Okay. SEC teams in the top 10 or top 25?
Top 25 preseason.
All right. We have Florida at 23. Then we have not Nebraska. Florida at 23. Arkansas at 10. South Carolina at 9. Georgia at 6, LSU at 3, Bama at 2. 6 teams.
So 6. There was only 6? So that's even less than I thought.
So think about it this way. Take Arkansas out of it. That leaves 5. All of them are, and that's all extremely top heavy. Think about the teams that rose in the SEC. Think about A&M. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. It is top heavy. Top heavy. Go ahead, Phil.
Like, and this is the thing. Okay, as much as how it's a rivalry, I understand it, but Gamecock fans get on Clemson fans, and Clemson fans get on Gamecock fans. Well, as a Gamecock fan, I'll even say this. Okay, you don't see, and I know the ACC is weak. I understand that, so don't start bringing that up.
Hey, that's an understatement.
You don't see Clemson fans like, oh, Florida State's in the national, which then, like I said, ACC doesn't get to the national championship.
Oh, yeah, back in the day, hell nah. Every Clemson fan I knew was rooting against Florida State back in the day.
Exactly. That's what to me, okay, here's the other thing reference I was going to make, and I know that they're two different sports, or two different spectrums of a sport. But if the Patriots don't make the Super Bowl, I'm rooting against whoever wins the AFC. That's just that simple.
Especially if they beat the Patriots on the way there. Like if the Broncos make it, you are the biggest NFC fan ever, right?
Exactly. Or the Texans beat us and then move on and go all the way. Like, it doesn't matter if they beat us. Like, if we don't make it, I'm not rooting for an AFC team. Mainly because, like I said, they'll probably go through New England, but still,
because you're still such a. Never mind. Continue.
But what I'm saying is, I don't get this. I just don't. It's a conference. Congratulations, your favorite team's in the conference. Doesn't mean you got to root for 20 freaking teams. Like,
look, I feel you, Phil. But the one exception I would say is this: if we have no ties to you at all, but you play in the conference, I kind of see voting for I kind of see rooting for the conference. But if you're an Auburn, Arkansas, LSU, like especially if you're in the SEC West and you cheering for Alabama, nigga, kill yourself now. Like that makes come on. Like, so you gonna cheer for the team that came in there and whooped y'all ass? Let's be real. Aside from A&M,
right? That's what I'm saying, right?
Like aside from A&M, every team in the West they pretty and LSU, but I thought, but they still beat them. But they destroyed the SEC West this year. Ask Mississippi State fans how they felt after Alabama came up out of there. Come on, man.
And what I'm hearing is I brought up Alabama had lost to Texas A&M is one of the things I brought up as far as comparing the Alabama schedule and Notre Dame. And you know what? I get back in return. Alabama went all year and they only lost to one team, and it was to an SEC team. Newsflash: Texas A&M is not an SEC team. They in the SEC now.
Not yet, at least.
But they hadn't been in there. What? This is the first year, ain't it, or second year?
First season, very first, and nobody expected anything from them. And I told everybody Johnny Football was unstoppable, but nobody expected anything from that team but me. So now I don't want to hear that bullshit about SEC dominance. Then when niggas was saying all off season, all I heard was, "Oh, this Big 12 team gonna get bullied and manhandled by the SEC." Isn't Phil? Ain't that what you heard?
All I heard was, "Oh, welcome to the SEC. Welcome to the SEC, Texas A&M. You about to get rocked. You about to get rocked."
Remember they lost to Florida early in the year. All you heard was, "Hey A&M, welcome to the SEC." Even and all these motherfuckers probably didn't even watch that game because A&M dominated them in the first half. Oh God! Just go, Phil. Go.
That's how I feel. No, that's how I feel. You scream for me because I can't scream right now. Oh my God!
All right.
I don't. All I say is just watch college football, please.
Thank you. That's all. Just watch college football. They're a great team. Like, look. Bill Snyder was a great story this year, man. He took a Kansas State team that nobody expected anything from and got them boys to the BCS. And legit, for most of the season, they looked like the best team in the country. They were killing people, putting SEC style beatings on people. He looked like Tim Tebow in Urban Meyer's offense. Real shit. And that defense was. Ask the kid how bad Kansas State looked. Ask the kid when they destroyed Miami. Not trying to throw that in your face, but kid legit. Didn't that look like one of the baddest teams you ever seen in your life during that game?
It was a fucking massacre. I legit was terrified.
See, it's ridiculous. They're great teams all over. This year, there was a plethora of great teams, and they weren't just in one place. Every SEC team had a glaring issue. They weren't dominant at all. South Carolina sometimes struggled to put up points, and sometimes they just didn't play defense.
And their cornerbacks are horrible. I mean,
and the Connor Shaw, at every time, Connor Shaw looked amazing, and so did what's his name?
Dylan Thompson.
He looked good too, but there were times where they both looked terrible. And then you got Georgia with the worst big game coach in all of sports, man. Come on, like really real shit. That probably should have been Georgia in that game. Mark Richt completely blew the SEC title game because that last drive, Bama couldn't do shit with them. All you had to do was kill the ball, call an actual play, and that would have been them in that game. Whatever, man. It's crazy.
Oh, and before you say that, Big Red,
okay,
I do want to say this. One of these days, you're going to eat your SEC words. One of these days, it may not. I don't know. Maybe you won't. Maybe you won't. But I hope it comes, and I hope it's you think your great SEC team. Hopefully it's not Carolina. Just want to throw that out there. But hopefully your great SEC team goes in, which it won't happen to Nick Saban. So there's two of them out there. But anyways, your great SEC team goes to a title game because you didn't watch any other college football. You don't know anything about the opponent. You think it's going to be a blowout, and you get your feelings hurt when the other team blows them out.
Look. I'll say this: if Oregon would have played Alabama, legit, I do not think they would have been able to handle that pace. What Chip Kelly does is totally different from anything anyone else does around the country. Like they play football like the Clippers play basketball, up and down as fast as possible. And what did Alabama get? What did they put up 21 points? What did they give up 21 points to earlier in the year? Same shit with Johnny Football. I'm just saying. I'm not saying they would have won. I'm just saying that if Oregon would have, and if one of them other teams would have took care of business, Bama wouldn't even been in that game. Go ahead, kid. Kid, were you done, or were you gonna talk, kid? What was happening?
I can't say anything else anymore. I'll get 6.
Like I'm pissed. Y'all don't know how much frustration I have inside of me because like me and Phil live in the heart of this bullshit. The heart of this yo. I love the South. The South is to me the best place in the country, man. It's a lot of beautiful.
Hey, I live in the South. I may not live in SEC country, but I live in the South.
But you know what I mean, kid. Like Florida don't count. Florida may as well be California, man. Y'all don't
such
man.
bullshit.
I mean, y'all are located in the South, but and there's no Southern accents down there. All y'all motherfuckers are like real. You know what I mean? Y'all clean cutters. Y'all not y'all. You know what? Y'all are geographically located in the South. Y'all are Hawaii is located southern too, but they ain't the South. Come on. Kid. But anyway, I mean, I love Florida though. Been there twice. Beautiful place. Yeah. But But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. Like, I live in the heart of this bullshit, man. I love the South. I think the South is extremely hospitable. You know, we got a lot of historical places there. You come to Columbia, hell, you even go around Field Country. There's so many like Civil War, like right. Battle, shit like that. You know what I mean?
Historical stuff, right?
Hey, you know, they go to Charleston, man. So much history there, but we have the dumbest people about.
Shout out to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Everett Golson.
Yeah, you know he was. Yeah. He and trademark. I want to get on trademark real quick. He almost made me kill him last night. Like he almost because he decided, and I know he didn't mean nothing by it, but I was about to kill him. He when Everett Golson took that sack, like that huge sack he took. It was like 15 yards or something. Y'all remember
that sack where if it was Joe Webb, he would have tossed it in there. I thought that's all I could think of when he took that sack.
But yeah, he tweeted LOL Golson. I'm like, don't piss me off tonight.
I saw that.
That boy can ball. Don't do that. No, because you about to piss. You know nothing about that kid, so don't tweet anything else. And he didn't, because he knew better. Because I was about to kill him. I was like there was rage building up in me. I was like, don't do that. Don't do that, because I'll kill you tonight. Seriously, I will. I will kill you tonight. I will find you and rip your little head off, kid. Shut the fuck up, seriously.
Make you eat your Eli Manning stickers.
Yeah, like just stick to only watching the Giants and shut the fuck up, for real. Just chill.
No one gets buried more on the show than Trey Lance.
Because I was already frustrated because all through my mentions I'm reading SEC. Right. Like legit on Twitter last night. I follow 3 real Bama fans. This chick named Tasha that I've known for a long time. Yeah, I mean, beautiful girl, by the way. That's if I do. But yeah, her. Yeah, I mean, an adult film star that I know is definitely an Alabama fan because she's from Alabama. And then my homeboy William. That is it. Those were the only 3 legit Alabama fans I saw on my line. And this one girl who was rooting for Alabama because her ex-boyfriend was a Notre Dame fan. You know what I mean? Whatever. Anybody else I saw tweeting that Notre Dame is an embarrassment, Roll Tide, it rage built up in me. It just kept building. I'm like, I hadn't seen and Jared, shout out to Jared, the real Jared, not you trademark, more virus. When he tweeted, he was like, on my line right now at Nightmareballa1 would blow a gasket, because there are guys that I've seen tweeting all sorts of information that they heard from Mel Kiper that have never watched the sport before. And I was like, shout out to you, Jared. I love you, man. I love you. But yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm done. Well, hold on. Real quick. I want to say this. Quick predictions for next year. Without necessarily claiming a champion, I will say some shit that I'm a little interested in. Can I do this real quick, kid?
Yeah,
you
sure.
want to do it?
Go for it.
But what I'm interested in next year, Johnny Football year 2, because year 1 we saw what he did. You know what I mean? And year 2 can only mean he's going to be even more deadly. They're losing Jokel. You know, he's going to the draft. That's
You can stay out of the casino.
Yeah. Yo, he got, like, he's all over the news and shit doing, like, random stuff. I don't want to hear no shit involving him, man. That would destroy me. I love that kid, man. I don't want to hear nothing like that. But, you know, I'm interested to see what he does next year. Urban Meyer with bowl eligibility, that's a nightmare for everyone. You know? Like, what you say?
I said, oh gosh, I don't.
Yeah, like, you know, he's now eligible to play for shit. And man, I'm just telling you, I didn't.
Can I make your prediction?
Go ahead.
If Ohio State will probably, I'm gonna say Ohio State goes to the national championship to play an SEC team. We have to live through this crap again. They play nobody.
No, because I will be rooting. I don't know if y'all know this. I hate Ohio State more than any other team in college football. And I don't want to play.
Yeah, obviously.
I may hate FSU with such a burning, harsh passion, but my hate for Ohio State is greater, and I can't have them face an SEC team because then I got to root for the SEC.
But that tough schedule thing might not actually work because they do play in the Big Ten. So.
Yeah, but the Big Ten is going to be a lot better next year. I really believe that.
Okay.
I believe that Nebraska, even though they're losing Taylor Martinez, I think that they're better. Yeah, I mean, I think this year the Big Ten won't be a laughing stock next year. I don't think so. Even though they're losing a lot of people, they're also a lot of talented young dudes that a lot of people ain't never heard of that they'll see next year. And, you know, but Ohio State, they got Braxton Miller coming back for another year. I didn't think they were that talented this year. I think they benefited from the Big Ten being so down. But I think next year, though, we'll see what they really got. You know what I mean, I'm interested to see what's going to happen there. I'm also interested in Oklahoma because they got ramrodded by A&M. And now they're losing Landry Jones. And what's his name? The kid, number 10, always come in for the goal line plays. He's supposed to be this dual threat guy. Like, people have been saying he's like Tim Tebow. So I kind of want to see, you know, what he's got.
You're talking about the guy. You're talking about Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering why. I didn't know they had two quarterbacks coming in like that.
Yeah, he did. You remember what Tebow used to do for Florida before?
Right, yeah.
It's that type deal.
Okay.
But just like before, how he was better, how Tebow was obviously better than Chris Leak. People were saying that this kid is obviously better than Landry Jones.
Oh wow, okay.
Well, you know, we'll see. You know, he finally gets to start, so we'll see what happens. Chip Kelly coming back to Oregon is also a nightmare because, you know, minus what's his name? I think Barner's leaving. I think he's a junior. I think he's leaving. They're pretty much getting everybody back. And Mariota is getting one more year in that offense with Chip Kelly. They're going to be a problem. You got Keith Hogan up there in Stanford, too. People comparing that kid to Andrew Luck. They're losing Stephon Taylor, but, you know, it's a cycle, man. They know how to recruit up there. David Shaw is an amazing coach. I feel like the best in the Pac-12. That includes Chip Kelly. Yeah, I said it. And, you know, I just want to see what happens up there. You know, the SEC, you know, I kind of feel like, you know, this is an early prediction. You know, so I'm just going to go ahead and make it. If Nick Saban stays, I don't see how they don't win another one because they got A.J. McCarron coming back. T.J. Yeldon going to see most of the carries because he's more talented than Lacey. Lacey's more physical, but he's more talented than Lacey. They're losing Barrett Jones. People are saying
D. Milner.
Yeah, D. Milner, and but still, like for the most part, the defense will be back because they are, you know, most of them are relatively young for the most part, and then they're also keeping the receiver. What's his name? Help me out.
Amari Cooper from the 305.
Okay, shut the fuck up. Amari Cooper, he'll be back another season. So I can't honestly like if they get there, man. I can't see how they lose again.
What if they play A&M again?
They play A&M again. They could. Here's what I'm saying. If they get to the national championship game, they are a lock. They are a lock next year.
Playoff doesn't start next year, right?
This year it was a little iffy because Notre Dame had been so great coming. Yes, they were. Yes, they were, people. They've been so great on defense coming into that game. And, it was like doubt. You know what I mean? That's why I picked them. I picked them because there was doubt. Bottom line, there was doubt. It was.
Markeem.
Yeah.
I have the Texas A&M schedule right in front of me. They play Alabama week 3 in Texas A&M.
Week 3, dang.
Yeah, September 14th.
It's gonna be hard dealing with that 12th man. It's gonna be hard. And that's their first conference game.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard dealing with that 12th man.
Are you talking about for A&M or for Bama?
For Bama, it's going like they were able to beat them in Tuscaloosa. Now they gotta come and man. But Nick Saban probably preparing now for that game. So I don't know, man. You got me excited, kid. Oh my God, because I can't see how Alabama's not gonna be number 1 preseason.
Yeah. But do you think Texas A&M will be in the top 5?
Yeah, definitely. All because of Johnny Football.
And Oregon as well?
You said what?
Oregon as well?
Yeah. Oregon and A&M, you pretty much locked that in. I guarantee you that.
The playoffs started in 2014, but does that mean the season or does that mean the year?
Yeah, the season after the next.
All right, so it's not next. Okay.
But, if Alabama gets there, they're locked, But that's just a little bit of the thing. We'll probably talk about this more coming into next season. But that's just a little bit of things that immediately popped in my head when that game was over last night.
There's one more thing I want to say. Congratulations to Javane. I can always butcher his first name. Clowney. All-American Player of the Year.
What, of the period or just defense?
They gave him all. That's what it said on the BCS game last night. He was AT&T All-American Player of the Year.
Oh, you talking about that's the fan votes. Yeah.
Fan vote. Oh, okay.
Oh, are you serious, dude? You talking about the AT&T thing that they? Oh, yeah, that's the fan text vote. What the fuck? See, this is what I'm talking about. It's the hit. It's the goddamn hit. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, I made it go.
Oh God. Oh my head. Oh my head. Oh my head. Like, yo, Phil. Would you
your beloved college football?
Like, Phil, would you even say Clowney was the player of the year of everyone?
To be honest, I don't think I can. I know enough to make that statement.
But I'm just saying, think about it. You saw Johnny Football. You saw Manti Te'o.
Yeah. Like full. Yeah. Both sides of the ball. Heck no.
Like Marquise Lee, all these tremendous players, and just look, I loved Jadeveon Clowney. I don't even think he was the defensive player of the year, and I loved it. I thought Jarvis Jones and Manti Te'o both had better seasons than him. I loved the guy, but that's crazy. That's crazy. It was the damn hit, and that's why I hate all of you. I hate all of you. Because if you're gonna do some shit like that, at least watch the sport. Know you are not knowledgeable enough to step in that realm. Dog, I know shit about hockey, so I don't talk. Remember, y'all know Anna Hammer, y'all know Eric. That's my authority when it comes to hockey. Because I don't know shit about hockey. Like, I used to be like, how good is Sidney Crosby? He was like, he ain't better than Ovechkin. Not even close. And I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Because I don't know anything about hockey.
And he's also a Capitals fan, though.
but I mean, most people I ask say Ovechkin's better. But I asked him because I know, and he's unbiased, though. You ever talk to him? He's unbiased. You know what I mean? And, he was the first person to tell me, man, Crosby ain't everything he cracked up to be. And I pretty much, just was like, okay, you know more about this sport than I do. So I'm just gonna step back. You don't know about it. Shut the fuck up and step away from it. Like, just stop. Just stop. Clowney getting that award pisses me off, and I'm taking a break. Y'all go ahead and talk. I'll be right back. Fuck that.
Oh man, I didn't mean to set him off there. That was
damn, man. Yeah, I was about to. I don't know if he knows that Alabama's first game on their schedule next year is against Virginia Tech.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Oh man, that's gonna be his worst nightmare.
that shit, man.
I hope y'all can hear this. This is great.
Jesus. This is the peak.
Fucking award. Yeah, I heard.
By the way, previous winners of this AT&T All-American Player of the Year: Robert Griffin III, Graham Harrell, Michael Crabtree, Brady Quinn, Colt McCoy, Vince Young, Cedric Benson. All players play offense, unless Harrell was on defense. I don't know who that is.
No, Harrell was the quarterback for Texas Tech.
Oh, okay.
And hold on. You said who? Cedric Benson. Really?
Yeah, in 05, yeah.
Seriously? Wow. Well, that's a trivia question for you right now. I would have never guessed that.
Well, I should have asked. Well,
all right. I'm just going to take charge and speak because I've been sitting here for the past hour and 6 minutes listening to this mad craze madness from the both of y'all. Listen, fools. First off, Markeem, do you know who Alabama's first game of the year is against?
I know it's Virginia Tech. I saw that the other day.
Are you ready? Are you prepared for that?
You're beat down, man. Sorry.
With Logan Thomas, the savior.
Oh yeah, he's coming back, ain't he? Fuck that dude.
Oh, he's coming back? I thought he was going to the draft.
No,
he's
him, Aaron Murray, and someone else. Aaron Murray, AJ McCarron, and another quarterback. I forget who. Are the four main quarterbacks that were rumored to go to the draft, but instead are going back.
Like Aaron Murray did the smartest thing in his whole career coming back, though. he need work, a lot of it. But go ahead, kid. Go ahead. This is your chance to shine. Go ahead.
All right, I can speak. I was very, very saddened watching the game. You don't have to think too much of it to figure out that I fucking hate Nick Saban. That what this man did to the Miami Dolphins football program, I thought was disrespectful. I thought it was unmanly. I thought it was completely childish. I was absolutely infuriated when it happened. And a lot of people don't know this, but I really do blame Nick Saban for setting our program back the past few years. Recently,
really?
People forget, the year after he left, we went 1-15. He left us.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I forgot about that.
He left us with the worst offense in all of football, and our offense the next year still wasn't very good. But we got Chad Pennington, one of the most. I know he's always hurt, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, I mean, Chad Pennington is a very very talented quarterback, and Chad Pennington carried us to a playoff season. But once Chad Pennington left, we saw how mediocre the offense was, and still is to this day, and it's just. Like, he left us with so many holes in that offense. He completely went over the wrong guys. Obviously, there's the whole Drew Brees, Dante Culpepper thing that everybody talks about. But he couldn't recruit properly at the NFL level for a proper offensive unit. He made very questionable trades at the time in 2006. And he left his program damaged. And had he fucking, I think, at least come to terms with the fact that he was going to go back, and had he told the Dolphins from the start, I could have gotten over this. I could have gotten over our program being hurt. But no, instead it was, no, don't worry, I'm going to stay. I'm just going to get on a fucking plane the day after the last game of the season. I felt like a son, whose parents just said, we don't give a shit. It was basically Nick Saban calming down the community of Miami because we liked him. Nick Saban, his only NFL career, his career record in the NFL, I don't know if y'all know, 17-17. Not bad.
Not horrible. Not horrible at all.
I don't think he'll ever go back.
9-7. I don't think he should. 9-7 the first season, 6-10 the second season. Not bad. 17-17 overall. But at the end of the day, by the way, sorry to interrupt. Someone on my Facebook commented that UF actually had the hardest schedule in college football, but I don't know if that's true. Anyways. They probably played the better teams, but they probably didn't have the most combined wins.
No, I couldn't have been because the second half of the season after wasn't it the Georgia game? They didn't play anyone at all until what's the name? Until
Louisville.
Yeah, until Florida State.
Okay. Because I think it's because they played Florida State. They played Florida State, Georgia, LSU, and South Carolina, and Texas A&M. I think that they take those 5. But anyways, moving on. So, Nick Saban, I hate with all my heart, and every time he's in the title game, I'm going to root against him. Anytime that motherfucker is on the field, I'm going to root against him. I hate Nick Saban. I'm always going to hate Nick Saban. I will forever hate Nick Saban. Nothing anyone can do to convince me. And again, I blame Markeem for educating me into understanding college football and understanding Notre Dame because I legitimately thought Notre Dame had a chance. And all my friends, all my friends at least thought it would be close. Like, they at least thought, I think it'll be close, but I don't see Notre Dame winning. Like, that's what they said. And I was like, okay, we'll see.
I can respect that. I can
respect. I wish that was all I had.
But, and like, even my friends who thought Bama was going to win, thought the 10-point spread, by the way, it rose from 8 to 10. The 10-point spread was insane.
Oh, and I lost $5 on that spread, too. Gosh, you had to remind me.
So, yes. And basically, I was very, very disheartened. Like, the opening fucking kickoff. I'm recording. I'm late to my friend's house. The game started at 8:30, and I didn't get to my friend's house till 8:45. So I'm recording because I'm recording the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards thing with Trademark. I'm recording, and I'm watching the game.
God.
I'm watching the game while he's talking. The first drive. And as soon as that first drive was over, and then Notre Dame got a 3-and-out immediately, I just, like, looked down, and I was just like, fuck. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is going to be troubling. And then I went to my friend's house, and I just saw it go from 7-0 to 14 to 21 to 28 to 35 to 40 to 35 to 7, then 42 to 7, then 42 to 14. It was just very, very, very disheartening. I was very upset. And now here's the thing. We all know that Notre Dame was one of the best teams in the country. We all know that Notre Dame was a threat on defense. And all the people who said otherwise were wrong. But at the end of the day, they're going to take their one game of year as evidence, and they're going to think that they were right. And life just works like that sometimes. Even though we are right, us three are right, we look like fools to everyone around us. And that's what pisses me off. Because they're wrong. They're not right. They're flat out wrong. And even though we know better, the more intellectual ones are the ones that have to sit by the wayside and take it for another year. Because that's just how life works sometimes. And it's unfair. But
that's true.
That's how it is. And Markeem, I want to ask you, like, I mean, I was watching that game. I mean, I get that Monty Teo, like, you know, he made a lot of tackles, but he only missed 8. But some of those tackles that he missed, like, I was just like, really?
When does he ever miss those tackles, man? But you remember the one on Lacey where he was by his leg and he just let go?
Yeah, and he was behind the line of scrimmage.
I tweeted that. Yeah, I tweeted.
Like, honestly, I know that Alabama's big and strong, but like, Monty Teo missing those tackles has nothing to do with Alabama's powerful line. Like, you know, he was... this team just...
I legit believe it was nerves, man. I really believe that. Seriously.
Like, this team...
It had to be.
This team did not play like the Notre Dame I saw slack Miami 41-3. Like, this team did not look like... They did not look like the team I'd seen all season. And
they did not look like the team that proved me wrong every time I picked against them, so I just gave up. I was like, fuck it, they're not going to lose another game.
So here's the thing. This is the thing that troubles me, and I don't want to get into another different discussion when we talk about the playoff format, Markeem. But this is my problem. At the end of the day, Skip said it, but Skip's a fucking moron who's hedging his bets. But at the end of the day, I mean, do all three of us believe that had A&M been in that game, A&M would have won?
I don't know.
Against Bama?
I don't know.
With that type of layoff, I don't think so.
Nick Saban.
I think after Nick Saban seeing Johnny Football one time, no.
Oregon.
Oregon. That's another story. Oregon's another story. That's a good question.
This is the problem. Like, after the national title, like when the Giants win the Super Bowl, like, there's no doubt that at that moment in time, they were the best team in all the NFL. Like, there's just no doubt. When the Heat won the title last year, like, there was no doubt. The Heat were the best team in all of basketball at that moment.
And I think the NBA has the best format for that, but you can't do that with football.
Obviously, no, you can't. But now, with college football, you have some people saying that Bama won the title, but were they even the best team in college football right now at this moment? And that's the
I can respect that because that is a fair question. Like my issue was never it was never people talking about playoffs in general. My issue was trying to take away from the regular season to implement those playoffs. I don't want that to happen. I just don't.
Fair enough.
That's just my issue. Like, you know, if you do a playoff, fine, whatever. But, you know, don't take away from legit the most dramatic regular season in all of sports. Period. Like no one can argue that, dog. It's the best regular season in all of sports. That's why
you can lose one game and it costs you your season.
Like that. And that's why college football is so loved and it's so polarizing, because the regular season is legit the most dramatic. And, it's like a movie. It's legit like a movie. Look at Notre Dame's season. It's like if the regular season wasn't set up the way it was, we wouldn't have had that magical season they had all year. It wouldn't have happened that way. Nobody would care.
So this is, it's just, I don't want to get into that, but it's just kind of troubling for me. And,
I see your point, kid. I see exactly what you're saying. You would never hear me argue that, ever.
So, but with that in mind, like I said, we were right. But we just have to take it. Do you think if there wasn't a layoff, like immediately after that Georgia game, bam, Bama Notre Dame, do you think the score would be the same?
It would not have looked like that. It would not have looked like that. No.
That's interesting that Big Rat brought that up. Markeem, do you think there's too long of a layoff between the end of the season and the national?
And that's another thing I've been saying for years. Like sometimes it's like almost a month and a half. Like they gotta do something about that.
All right. Well, at the end of the day, like
I guess.
Like even with the playoffs coming up that they're going to implement, I wish they would do something to change that. But since the New Year's Day bowls and the New Year's like week bowls, it's been like that for so long. It's like kind of like tradition. They got to do something about that though.
I was saying, like you can't start the bowl season off with a that's what I was just about to say. I was like, wouldn't it be weird if they started off the bowl season with a national championship?
No, but I think the playoff.
You could make an argument that you might lose a lot of your. I mean, I know the casual fan really only watches the title game anyway, but I'm saying like they may catch a game in between if it's leading up to the title game. But if the title game starts,
what you could do is implement the playoffs in the middle of the bowl season.
I just think.
Are you saying like in the middle you have the two games, and then like a couple weeks later you have the national championship game?
Yeah, you can do that.
That will work. That will work. That's perfect.
But you couldn't like have all of them in the middle and then all of a sudden, have extra bowl games after. Like no one's going to care about those bowl games after.
Well, I mean, have the bowl games going on while those are going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then like have the two. There's only two games, so like throw them like kind of in between bowl season, and because two of those games are BCS games anyway, so you eliminate two BCS bowls right there. I mean, you know that, right? Like the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl are the two playoff games now.
Oh, is that what they're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
I figured that's what they would do. Right.
So, you get rid of two of those off the bat and just have the other. That's a perfect idea, kid. I hope they do that.
But with that, I think we can close this book on the national title game. Very saddening, but all in all, I have to once again, and Phil will join me, for a very successful year of college football and getting us to care about something like this instead of just saying Roll Tide, SEC dominance, hashtag Roll Tide, hashtag Saban. So Phil, join me in clapping.
Woo!
For Markeem once again.
But you know what's funny about this season though?
It wasn't.
I wish I would have really been into it, like 2002, 2004, something like some of those. That's when y'all would have just been like, this is the best sport ever. Especially 2004.
As long as it wasn't 2000. The 2002 season never happened, so don't worry.
That was an awesome season though. That was.
But it never happened.
And that game was a perfect way to end it.
If you mean bullshit being a perfect way to end college football, then fine.
Oh, man. Anyways.
No, but this isn't disputable. got robbed. That was a terrible...
No, it is disputable.
No, it's not.
They did get robbed. I will admit that was not pass interference. I will admit that.
Yeah, but what's the most wishy-washy call in sports?
Yeah, but Phil.
Pass interference.
But Phil. I was there. It was the very end of the game. They shot the fireworks and brought out the trophy. The ref didn't throw the flag till 7 seconds after the play ended.
Yeah, no, hold on. Tell the whole story, kid. Remember the refs were conferring because he was about to throw the flag, and then they conferred, and then he threw the flag.
Yes, and all the refs...
So it was going to happen immediately, and then it happened after they conferred.
And heads up...
Don't make it seem like he just randomly threw the flag out, kid.
No, right. But still, Like, and if you
I remember
see
watching that game though. I actually did watch that game, but I don't remember how.
All right, but here we have. There's some breaking news on this actually, but we need to talk about. Now we'll move on from the title game and we'll go on to RG3. I'm gonna go first on this one this time because I have a fucking lot to say.
But, yeah, go ahead.
So obviously the Seahawks played the Redskins. RG3 was on a very bad knee. It was very obvious. The first play, the first time he like ran the option, I was like, oh shit, this guy's hurt, and immediately throughout the game, there was a bunch of cries of take him out. And then in the fourth quarter, on a botch snap, he went to pick it up, and his knee completely bent the wrong way. And here's some updated news for you from Chris Mortensen and Adam Schefter. I mean, I knew it. They were trying to say yesterday there was a partial tear, and I'm like, okay, you're full of shit. Today, SportsCenter is now reporting, and I'll read the exact quote. RG3, after conferring with Dr. James Andrews and looking at the graft of his 2009 ACL injury, RG3 completely tore his ACL and NCL, is going to have total reconstruction surgery, 6 to 8 month recovery time.
God damn, man.
Is expected to be back for the opener, though. That's what I'm seeing, too.
Yeah, but okay, if it's, think about it. It's January. If it's 8 month recovering time, and that's 8 months before OTAs, he'll be his sophomore slump will be even worse than expected because he'll have no training camp.
That's true, right.
Listen. I need to say this right now.
I almost want to cry right now, man. But go ahead, kid.
Listen, in the fourth quarter, I almost did cry when he went down like that. But let me say this right now. I am absolutely furious at the whole situation. It was very obvious that they should have taken him out. And everyone wants to blame Mike Shanahan, and I want to blame him a lot. But I think no one is giving RG3 enough blame for the situation. I think what RG3 did was fucking selfish. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he wanted to have his hero moment and be in the playoffs and keep going. It was fucking selfish. They had 74 yards of total offense the rest of the 3 quarters. The dude could not throw the ball. It's not just that he could run, he couldn't throw. Smart Football talked about this. His interception, everyone likes to praise Earl Thomas for making a great play. But the problem was RG3 couldn't step into the throw properly and the ball was misplaced. And the rest of the game, he could not. The reason his accuracy was so off, he was 50% completion rate, by the way. The reason his accuracy was so off was because he couldn't fucking throw the ball because he couldn't set his footwork properly because he had a fucked up knee. He couldn't run. Everyone watching the game was crying, take them out. He has a great backup quarterback who won a game for them without RG3 and won a game for them in overtime in the Ravens game. A successful quality backup quarterback, but RG3 was like, oh, there's no way I was getting taken out of that game. I thought it was fucking selfish. I thought it was completely 100% him being a fucking diva that wanted to have his goddamn moment that, no, I'm injured, but I'll keep going because he knew, they talked about this in ESPN, all the greats, some of the all-time great quarterbacks have that story of when they're hurt and they keep playing and they win. And RG3...
Steve Young, John Elway.
Yes.
He do this all day.
Ben Roethlisberger. But
Ben Roethlisberger to be recent a little bit.
But everybody, I think
even Tom Brady, I got to throw that in there, playing through a concussion.
Hey, Phillip Rivers in 2007 played on a torn ACL.
Yeah.
But everyone's...
Byron Leftwich back when he was in college.
Yes.
Remember that?
I do. But I think RG3, especially when you see the post-game press conference, when he was like, I'm the franchise quarterback, I'm the best option for this team, that's why I was in there. And Shanahan, I told Shanahan that if he would have pulled me out, I would have been very disappointed. I thought it was fucking selfish. Okay, he's a kid. He's 4 years older than me. He's young. I get that. He probably, didn't know better. But I really, really think that he should have realized, hey, I can't throw the ball. I can't move. There's no offense. We are not getting past the 30-yard line. We're going 3 and out every drive. This usually doesn't happen for the Redskins. I think he should have realized, you know what? I'm not playing well. I got to pull myself. I'm hurt. I got to pull myself out, put Kirk Cousins in here because Kirk Cousins can do what I can't. Because me at 20% is not better than Kirk Cousins at 100. I am denying the Redskins their chance to win. They couldn't throw 3 straight quarters of Seattle just driving down the field at will, at complete will, just driving down the field. And, they had some fuck-ups. They had to settle for a field goal. Marshawn Lynch fumbled on the goal line. They were in field goal range. Then Russell Wilson got sacked and took him out of field goal range. It was just bound to happen.
The worst play of his pro career, too. I ain't never seen him do something that stupid.
That was quite pathetic. But like they were winning 14-13 most of the game. But I was just telling my friend, because my friend's a huge Redskins fan, it's only a matter of time. Like the defense is not stopping them. Russell can throw, Russell can run, Marshawn can run. It's only a matter of time before they go down, drive, and kill it, and officially win. And I was telling my friend at the end of the third quarter, they got to pull him out right now. And they weren't going to do it. And then as soon as Marshawn Lynch scored that touchdown, and it was over, like the Redskins didn't have their lead anymore. I told them, if they don't pull RG3 out right now, they have no shot. They will not win this game. And then RG3 went out trying to be the hero and fucking hurt himself, hurt his team, hurt his coach. I get it. I know people always say, "Oh, he's a young like people are like praising him. Oh, he's such a dedicated quarterback. Want to stay in." It hurts the team. When people were giving Jay Cutler bullshit back in 2010 for leaving the game, I wasn't that mad because I don't know how he was feeling. For him to pull himself out.
I know he shouldn't have been on the sideline riding the exercise bike and doing lateral drills if his knee was that hurt. See, that's why I can respect. I can respect if you come out of a game because you're hurt. You know, I'm not gonna call you a punk for that. But when you're doing shit like riding a bike and doing side to side lateral drills, but your knee is so fucked up, you're a jerk. You're a dick. You're a dick.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. But I just wasn't that mad because I didn't know the situation, and I hate when people criticize quarterbacks. Like Big Ben last year. Like, you know, he's like, oh, he always plays. And I was like, is that really a good idea? Like, in the Broncos game, he couldn't move.
I think it cost him. It cost him this year.
In the Broncos game, he couldn't move out of the pocket last year in the playoffs. He couldn't move.
And that's his thing. That's his thing, you know?
Like, I really do think guys might want to be the hero. I think it's fucking selfish. And especially with RG3, I really do think that RG3 was mad, did not want Kirk Cousins to have his moment, especially since Kirk Cousins, when RG3 went down, balled up for the Redskins, and RG3 had to protect his image, and I thought it was selfish. It's bullshit. Like, it's one thing, like, you know, at first, like, you know, they have 2 touchdowns. Okay, keep them in. When it's blatantly obvious that you can't throw, that you can't run, that your team is not doing anything offensively, when it's blatantly obvious, you got to go. And if you're still winning, that's one thing. Okay, I understand. They're still winning. As soon as Marshawn Lynch scored that touchdown, and I saw him go back in the field, that's when I had enough. I was like, okay, like because Shanahan's excuse is going to be, oh, well, he wants to play. And he's always going to want to play because he's tough. You got to fucking get yourself out of your vision and think about everyone else. I like Bomani Jones, I think. I don't know if it was Bomani or if it was Jay Adonde. Someone on Around the Horn said it perfectly. That, you know, Mike Shanahan has 52 men on that team, 53 men on that team that he cares about. And at that single moment, he was only looking out for one. He was not looking out for the other 52. Because Shanahan's at fault here too. I've heard people say, like people say, "Oh, well, RG3 wants to play." Of course, RG3 is going to want to play. What fucking quarterback in that situation, especially a young kid, young and stupid, isn't going to want to play?
Who's going to sit in that situation?
But Shanahan, the 2-time Super Bowl winner, experienced head coach, should have had the knowledge to say, "Listen, I know this means the world to you, but you're not helping us right now. You're hurting us significantly. And if we want to win this game and keep on going, you got to sit down." And he knew that. He knew that RG3 was not doing anything offensively, but he just couldn't pull him. And that's on him.
And I think he didn't want to be the guy that didn't want to be the guy that benched RG3 in his great rookie year. He didn't want to be the guy, and he cost his team for it.
And I've heard the argument, well, if RG3 had won the game, he would have been praised as the miraculous hero. And that is true.
That is true.
But each situation has their own circumstance and their own set of evidence. There was more than enough set of evidence that RG3 could not win the game for you. And especially once Marshawn Lynch scored that touchdown, you had to realize, okay, we got to get down the field and we need to score now. And RG3 is not going to be able to do that. And while I give RG3 the most blame because I thought it was selfish. It's okay. Like I said, it's okay. He's young. He's going to be an idiot. That's fine. But for people to completely say that he was being heroic is bullshit. He was being an idiot. He's young. It's okay to be an idiot when you're young, but say that he's being an idiot.
There's a difference between playing hurt and playing injured.
And
right. He was playing injured, right.
Like if you're playing through pain, like if you can still do what you do and it just hurts, then fine. But if you can't, if you're unable to perform, you shouldn't be out there. Like, look at Michael Jordan's flu game. He was sick, but he was able to still be Michael Jordan. He just felt horrible doing it. That's heroic. That is heroic. When you can't do.
Yeah, what didn't he have like 104 or something temperature? They said or something.
104 fever. Had 37 points.
I think
5 steals. Dude was a monster.
Right.
One of the best games of his career.
And I think what it is, okay, and I don't really think I agree with what Big Rat's saying, but I don't really think age really. I think age actually hurts him in this. I think if it's Brett Favre actually played hurt, not injured, but he played hurt. I mean, I know there's a difference, but like I could see, okay, Brett Favre knows he may not get another shot. RG3 knows he's gonna get another shot.
Yeah, like this is your team, dude.
You got like I said, to me. I put this on Twitter. It's a lose-lose. This situation was a lose-lose. Shanahan benches him. They lose the game, and Shanahan, gets all this crap about RG3 should have stayed in. He leaves RG3 in. They both gonna get crap because they lost the game, and RG3 was clearly not able to play. So it's just there's no way they win in that situation.
And while that is true,
unless he benches them and they win, of course. And then,
of course,
there's one. That's one.
And while that is true, it's like I told one of my best friends. Listen, they would have been criticized either way, but at least we wouldn't have to see RG3 on the field, crippled as he was, and then probably a significant into his career. Like, that method, while both methods get criticized, but one method does not involve one kid's career being significantly shortened because of pride. And it really infuriates me.
But you know who I blame the most, though? I do blame Shanahan the most. You know why? Because bottom line, you are the fucking coach.
Right.
You need you be as mad as me as you want. Sit your ass down.
You ain't the head coach. Exactly. No, I agree with you 100%. You ain't the head coach. You can go crying in the corner. I'm not starting. I'm sitting you. You have to man up and do that.
A good example of this. Hate to cut you off, Phil.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
A good example of this was a few years ago when Mark Ingram, his Heisman year, hurt himself. And Mark Ingram wanted to play every game, but he had a game against like some mediocre opponent or some shit like that. And Nick Saban was like, "Dude, you're not playing." Like, I'm sorry. All week he was like, "I want to play." You know what I mean? This is I'm having a good year. I feel good. I want to play. And Nick Saban was like, "Well, that just ain't gonna happen." Like, he straight up said it to the media. It was like, "Is Mark gonna play this week?" No. No. He just flat out said no. He was like, "Well, how does he feel?" I don't know, but he's still not playing. There's no point.
Right.
He said we have enough that we can win this game. He's not playing. And then Shanahan should have did the same. When they were up 14-0 on that drive, you could tell RG3 hurt himself again. Like, you could tell. Like, even if he wasn't injured, and he was just hurting, he injured himself on that drive. You know what I mean? And at that moment, when he was all gimpy, when it took him all day to come back to the sideline, when they was bringing out the field goal team to kick the extra point, you saw how long it took him to get to the sideline? Shanahan should have told him right then, "You're not going back in. We got a 14-0 lead. Kirk can hold this. You sitting down." Simple as that.
Right. Right. And
the another thing I want to talk about, that injury, yes, 6 to 8 months. My problem with all this is that I've heard people say, if RG3 has to miss some time for this, Shanahan should be fired. And while I do blame this is RG. Now, Shanahan should have, for the sake of the Redskins, Shanahan should have known better and done the right thing. For the sake of RG3's career, this is his own fucking fault. Like, it's not. No, Shanahan.
I don't know if I agree. He's still, like Markeem just said earlier. He's the head coach.
No. He should have overridden him because his responsibility is the Redskins. But it's not Shanahan's responsibility to take care of RG3's body. That's RG3's responsibility. If RG3's career is shortened, more blame belongs on that boy for being selfish and not taking care of himself and not realizing that it was a fucking It's one thing if he's being productive. Like, if he's out 6 to 8 months, but, they lost 27-24 in overtime and he had like 300 yards of offense. He's not being productive. If you're not being productive, sit yourself down. Honestly. But no, everyone's afraid of it was prideful, it was dumb. And the fact that RG3 in the media all week has been pictured as the victim, as the poor young kid whose head coach should have known better, now his career may be over, that shit pisses me off. Because what he did was fucking selfish, and he's being praised like a hero for it. What he did was stupid, and Shanahan deserves a ton of blame for not being the wiser man and stepping in. But the fact that RG3 is getting no blame in any of this and is being revered for his heroic work, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I couldn't say it by myself. Great stuff.
But
right? I mean,
here's another thing pissed me off about Shanahan though on Sunday. Why did he just totally forget he had Alfred Morris?
Exactly.
Like, why was RG3 throwing the ball so?
It was his lowest rushing amount. It was his lowest amount of rushing attempts on the year, 21.
Like what was up with that, man? Like
I don't know what
just
coaches think for some reason when it's playoff time they got to change stuff. And you notice if you look, the good coaches don't change stuff and succeed about it. Like, I mean, this is the Vikings, same thing. Okay, Ponder's not in the game. Run with AP. They wouldn't even run with AP a lot. I mean, he
was getting stuffed, but yeah.
Yeah,
right.
To be fair, though, he wasn't really doing much. Because he was putting 8 dudes in the box and totally taking away the sideline, so he couldn't really do his usual stuff.
But Alfred Morris was balling.
And I think you can kind of also right, like Alfred Morris was doing should have gotten more. But I think also with the RG3 thing, not to go fully back into that, but look at Frazier. Frazier made a gutsy call. I mean, right before the game, it was announced basically. I mean, he said he knew, but like Ponder was taken out of the game. Maybe I was like, yeah, they lost the game, and Joe Webb looked like a complete fool. But like, maybe that. I mean, if Ponder plays, and I'm just saying, I think Frazier made a decision, and whether it's cost him a playoff game or not, he made the decision that he knew he should have made, and I think that's something you can kind of look at. Shanahan should have made that decision. Like I said, I agree with Big Rat. RG3 has to, has to get some blame in this. I mean, the guy has to be like, look, Shanahan, I can't go put Cousins in. But bottom line, you're the head coach. You need to get this done. I mean, it's just football players are not going to want to sit. That's just the bottom line. Athletes in general are not guys that are just going to sit there and tell you they're hurt. That's what a lot of times, the concussion things, like athletes don't even know they have a concussion because the adrenaline's flowing and all that. It comes down to it in the bottom line. If RG3's career gets shortened and the Redskins, I mean, you're talking about RG3 and Redskins both suffer in this, Shanahan has to pay. I honestly believe that. I think that this has, as much as RG3 should get blame as well, this is going to fall back on Shanahan because, I mean, he literally might have cost the franchise and a player's career. I mean, they gave up everything for this guy. If this guy doesn't work or if something doesn't happen, they're back to the drawing board.
But he shouldn't be fired. I don't agree with that at all. He shouldn't be fired. That's crazy.
I don't.
But let me say,
Markeem, you're talking about costing a franchise.
But to be fired for it, though, he didn't know that. Like, to be fair, RG3 shouldn't have been out there, but he also didn't know RG3 was going to tear his ACL. He didn't know that was going to happen.
Well, that's true,
but to fire him though, especially after with him implementing the system that they play, they probably wouldn't have been in the playoffs.
What I'm saying is if RG3 comes back and clear, it's just not. He's just not RG3 anymore. Like he can't even manage the game.
Well, that's partially on RG3.
Well, right,
but
I'm saying
it's more on RG3. But
I'm just. Anyway,
like RG3,
like you gotta know your own body, dude. Like
right. What I said, RG3 should have said something.
Especially someone that had already tore their ACL earlier in their career.
But I mean, here's my question though, or here's my thing: when has an athlete that's been hurt ever say, "Hey, I'm not playing"? Like it doesn't happen. The head coach has to make the decision.
No. But like Hugh Douglas talked about this, and say what you want about Hugh Douglas, but he made a great point.
Like, he's still stupid, but go ahead.
When you're hurt. Your team looks at you like, guy, we need you because you are still better than your backup. And he was really hurt one game against the Jaguars. He was so sore, but he had like some injury in his arm. I forget what it was. But he went back out there because he said, I wasn't going to let my team down. And he played well. He was being effective. The difference is when the athlete is not being effective. And RG3 was not being effective. And I thought Shanahan didn't have the balls to make a last-minute decision in the playoffs. And I thought RG3 was being selfish.
Like, I remember. Here's a good example, Phil. Hate to cut you off, kid, but a good example is 1999, Steve Young's last year playing football, when he got a concussion early in the season, and he every few weeks or so he would try and come and play, see how he does for a half. If he felt like he couldn't play, he got off the field. You know what I mean? If he felt like he was making them worse, he just got off the field. You got to know your body, man. You got to know your body.
Well, no, right. Like I said, I'm not arguing with you guys.
RG3 at that point in the fourth quarter wanting to stay was not because my team needs me. It was because I want to play. It was because I want to be the hero. I mean, I'm telling you, that post-game speech when he was like, I'm the franchise quarterback. I'm the number one option for this team, and I have the right to be out there.
I saw that. I was like, this ain't the RG3 that went to Baylor. Who is this guy?
It felt like
this ain't the dude I want to have gay sex with. This ain't that guy. Who is this guy? Who's this person?
I felt like it was like someone that was like almost afraid to lose their spot or afraid to not have the glory. Like he was just like so demanding about it, and it was clear that the reason he was playing was not because, my team needed me out there. You were fucking making them worse. You were making them worse. Continue.
No, I was just saying, and I think that's the same thing. And that same, I think RG3 was like, I want to play. And I think Shanahan was like, I'm not going to be the guy that benches RG3.
That's true. Don't get me wrong. I think Shanahan deserves the Redskins not being in the playoffs anymore. Shanahan and RG3 both deserve a ton of blame. Like personally, though, I don't think it would have mattered. Kirk Cousins is good, but the Seahawks were just like destroying them offensively. The Seahawks were just.
No, think about it, though, kid. If Cousins would have came in,
they would have won.
When they were down 14-0, I think they could have won the game.
Not to sound like Skip, but I think they would have won.
Yes, I agree, but I don't bench RG3 then. I bench RG3 when I see that he's being completely ineffective offensively. And when they were down 14-0, I didn't see that yet. So I wasn't for benching him then. I was
they were up 14-0.
Yeah. I was in favor of benching him at halftime or later in the third quarter when it was evident that offensively they couldn't do anything because of RG3. But when they scored the touchdown and he was limping off the field, I was like, I don't know how severe he is, but if he's effective, he needs to be out there. But when it was clear he's not being effective.
Remember how long it took him to get off that field?
No, I saw but the thing is, the very first play of the game, when I saw this motherfucker almost jog to the sideline to get a first down, when I saw that, I already knew he wasn't the same RG3 and he was really, really hurt. But he was being decently effective. He was, he was throwing and shit like that. As soon as, I would say right when he started, it was evident he wasn't being effective, which is when it was 14-10. That's when you pull him, in my opinion. But Phil, like, if they had scored again, like, the Seahawks would have just driven down again, man. Like, the Seahawks were at will going down their throats. Like, I think I saw a stat that they crossed the Redskins' 40-yard line every possession. Or like something,
but at will, but they were down 14-0.
No, they were down 14-13.
I'm glad you brought that up. Not to jump back to the last topic we were on, but I just remember reading this earlier. Notre Dame hadn't given up a drive of more than 80 yards all season. Throwing that out there, and they did it 3 times to Alabama last night. Go ahead.
Yep.
Had to throw that out there.
And by the way, I also want to say this is a slight rant. I hate when people 14-0 is not in any way indicative of a dominant lead that a team has to upset from.
That is 2 possessions.
That's true.
That happens all the fucking no. Because I remember when they were up 14-0, and I saw some people like, oh wow. Like when it was 14-0, I was like, it's no big deal. They're gonna drive down and score right now. Like, it's not a big deal. No, the amount of overreactions. People were acting like it was 35-7, like the Alabama Notre Dame game. It was 14-0. That's nothing. You do you realize the Dolphins? Do you realize the Miami Dolphins overcame a 14-0 deficit and beat the fucking Patriots a few years ago?
Nevada this year lost Arizona, and then, you know what I mean, and came back. They came back from being down 14-0 in 2 minutes. So it's 2 possessions. That's all.
I mean, I even thought in the I was being optimistic, but in the BCS game when they were down when Alabama was up 21-0, if Notre Dame was driving a little bit, and I said if they score here, it's only a two possession game before the half. and I'm like, this game's not over. I was like, people will think, oh, 21-7 is a blowout, but 21-7, that's like this game's manageable for Kelly to go into the half. Of course, that didn't happen. 28-0 at the half, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I agree with you. I mean, I'm not saying 14-0. I'm just saying, like, you know, and I didn't get to watch the game, so I don't want to try to talk about the game.
Oh, you're disqualified, then.
Yeah, I'm disqualified. But anyway, I mean, and who knows? One thing I wanted to mention before we moved on: Atlanta may be thanking the Redskins after all this. If they, I'm not, even though I don't think. We'll get to that. But.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, that pretty much covers it with RG3. Hey, best of luck to his recovery. Honestly, I love seeing him play, but I'm just
yeah. Regardless of what y'all might think, I know the kid doesn't hate RG3.
Yes, no, I know.
Even though it always seems like it, I know he doesn't. I talk to him all the time. He does.
I really enjoy watching him play, and this is very saddening. So I really hope best of him on his recovery. I just think that him being praised like a hero when I thought he was a young, selfish punk, I think is kind of ridiculous. But anyways, let's move on to our third topic, but also our final topic. Playoff recap, predictions, and update. For those who are wondering, I'm going to keep record of our playoff picks throughout the playoffs. And right now, we're all 3-1. Me and Markeem picked the Colts to beat the Ravens in a game that was actually a lot closer than you'd think if you actually saw the whole game. Like, you know, that was contentious for a while until the end of the fourth quarter. And Phil went 3-1, picking the Ravens, but picking Marvin Lewis's Bungles. And as I have it on my record...
One pass!
Oh, but Phil, they were getting dominated the whole game. They should have been down by 4
thought I was 2-2. I thought I picked the Redskins. I'm 2-2.
Wait, let me see. No. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I picked the Redskins. I remember I was like, I believe in RG3.
Yeah. That's right. You picked both your boys.
So look, I have it on my record. Let me read it exactly. Let me read everything on my record. Peyton Manning will go farther than Eli Manning in the postseason. Marvin Lewis will never win a playoff game.
Bitch ass. Two of the safest picks. Two of the safest.
Bucks will finish second in the division.
And Bucks, in fact, did tie for second place in the division with 2 other teams. Thank you. Do you really want to bring that up with you going? The Saints won't go worse than 9-7.
I'm just saying. You know, you're trying to say you're.
No. What was the really bad thing that he said? It was something really awful.
No, I'm not bringing that. I know what it is, but I'm not mentioning that.
Wait,
again.
Phil?
Yeah, I said, not on the record, but I said it last.
What'd you say?
I'm not saying it.
It's
bad.
I know it was something. We was like,
Chargers
what?
winning the division. That's what it was. I'll say
Chargers winning the division.
The Chargers. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, over the Broncos.
But anyways, I want to talk about the Texas Bengals game.
All right. So yeah, well, the first game was Texans Bengals. I'll recap it very quickly. It was almost exactly like the game went last year. The game last year was 10-10 at half. This was 9-7 at half. J.J. Watt, who was a monster last year. J.J. Watt had a tremendous game this time. Played really well. I think 3 pass deflections, 5 tackles, and a sack, and an assisted sack on another one, if I remember correctly.
He looked unblockable, man. Yeah, it was crazy.
The rest of that line, too. The whole Colts, Texas defensive line looked really strong. The Texans only allowed 6 points on offense because the Texans won 19-13.
Pick 6, right.
Yeah, but the Bengals touchdown was the pick 6 by Schaub, which was really a great play by Leon Hall.
That was an amazing play. He came out of nowhere. That was so fast.
So they only allowed the Bengals to score 6 points on offense. Andy Dalton had a very bad game. And he couldn't find A.J. Green, like an open A.J.
Green. Did y'all hear him after the game?
But A.J. Green also cost him an interception when he just decides, oh, there's the ball. I'm not going to try to make a play.
Oh, yeah, that is true. That people forget that. Good job, Philip. Good information.
I was livid when I saw. I was like, A.J. Green, you can't sleep. Even if it's not designed for you to go on that play, you cannot sleep on that play. Like,
you can't stop. Like, that motherfucker was just
he literally was like, oh, it's not coming to me, and he just stops. Like, come. Like, you're one of the best receivers in the league. Like, come on, dude.
He was mad after that game was over, though. He was like, I don't know how many times I had my hand in there. You know, I'm just going to run down the field now, not even put my hand up. I was like, really, dude? He said that shit into the media.
He said that?
Like, yeah, he said that in the post game.
Wow. He completely buried his own quarterback.
He was like, I'm not mad at Andy. He was like, I know Andy had trouble seeing everything. Hands were all in his face, but I was open a lot.
Well, he's got that case because, look, the Bengals score once. They got the lead.
Yeah.
They score once. They have the lead. Like
Andy Dalton had AJ Green in the back of the end zone and overthrew everyone. I was like, oh man,
that's the pass that I'm like, that was it right there. Would have left like a minute or so on the clock for the.
I love how AJ. Yeah, but like Phil said, I love how AJ in his rant to the media didn't mention that he was the reason why he threw his only interception. Like nice.
Well, they're not gonna mention that. They're not gonna mention.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. But the Bengals. So yes, the Bungles. Marvin Lewis, they were praising him before the game. Oh, look what he's done with this program. Oh, and Omar Kelly, even a guy I respect, and a guy I bring up a lot on here. Talked on Twitter. I love Omar Kelly's style of defense. Tremendous coach. One of the most underrated in the NFL. And I just was sitting there yelling at the top of my lungs, he's been the coach for 10 years and hasn't won a playoff game.
Yeah, but it's the Bengals, though, kid.
Who
like,
cares?
It's the kid. They've been the laughing stock of the National Football League for so long. At least with Marvin Lewis, they haven't been.
I think they've been in the conversation. Like they've been relevant. That's the big thing.
Listen.
But I agree with what he's saying.
Marvin Lewis, as a coach, his play calling in the playoffs has always been fucking spotty. That game against the Jets in 2009, that wasn't a case of, it's the Bengals. No, it was a case because Marvin Lewis had a great quarterback, and he decided to run, I think it was 70% to 30% of the time, got very conservative. Look at this fucking, I don't know if you call it on Lou, I don't know if it was I don't know who's to blame here, if it was Marvin or Andy Dalton. But, that fucking play on 4th down, he fucking throws a 6-yard slant to fucking Marvin Jones. And it's just like, it was 4th and 11. What the fuck are you doing? He's always been a conservative coach.
I give you that. He has the Schottenheimer effect.
Yes.
I give you that. But kid, can you at least admit that dude is a really good coach?
I'm not denying that. But I think he can't win in the postseason. I think if he goes to another team, it'll be the same thing.
I don't know. I don't think. First off, I don't think the Bengals will ever fire that dude.
No, I don't think so either.
Earned his place there.
I didn't even realize this, but they've made. I guess because I just didn't think it was. I didn't think the Jets. I thought the Jets Bengals game was a few more years.
Oh, y'all know Rob Ryan got fired today.
Yeah, I saw that too. I wanted to say something about.
Same with Tony Sparano.
Yeah. But the Bengals have been in the playoffs 3 straight years. That's something to.
No. Oh, is it 3 straight?
Yeah. I didn't think it was 3 straight.
No,
but it was.
It's not. It's not 3
yes,
straight.
It is.
No,
yeah,
it's not. No,
yes,
it's not.
it is. I looked
no,
this up, Big
no,
Rat.
It's not.
Yes, it
no,
is.
It's not. No,
yes,
it's not.
it is.
No, it's not. No, it's
yes,
not.
It
no,
is.
It's not. Phil. Do you realize the Bengals drafted AJ Green in a top 5 draft pick?
Yes, but
that was 2 years ago.
You really think they went to the playoffs that year?
2012, 2011, they played the Texans, and 2010. Okay, you're right. Never mind. Shut up. I could have sworn it was 3 years in a row.
In fact, not only did they not make the playoffs that year, I think that was like one of their worst years ever. Let me take a look at that.
They made it in 09.
No, it was not.
Okay, no. Okay.
It's the Bengals.
That season, they were 4-12.
That is not one of their worst years ever.
Well, in the 2000s, they've only gone worse than that once in 2-14. Okay. Now, in the 90s, 3-13, 5-11, 3-13, 3-13, 7-9, 8-8, 7-9, 3-13, 4-12, 4-12, 6-10, 2-14. God damn.
It's laughable. It's so funny. They're so bad. They were so bad, man.
But the Bungle, I really do believe that with Marvin Lewis, unless they get like a beast, like if they get a Marshawn Lynch guy back there, like I really do believe that Marvin Lewis.
They'll be hating on the law firm now. They'll be hating.
Hey, he's good. He's good.
I think in a few years he could be that kind of back. He just ain't now.
Right.
So 6 to 8 months total reconstruction. Okay, not sure the final point. But nonetheless, the Bengals lost. Texans moving on. The Texans, say what you want about Schaub, who looks shaky again. Enough to win, though. Same kind of how TJ Yates looked last year. But the Texans' defense, and especially their defensive line, looked great. Their defensive line looked awesome. Dalton couldn't get anything off. He got pressured every single play. J.J. Watt looked great. And not just J.J.
4 swats. Y'all know he had 4 swats.
Yes.
J.J. Swat.
Like and they have this other dude. I forget what his fucking name is. Number 98. He had 2 sacks.
Yeah, the other white guy. Yeah,
The white guy.
Like the Houston Texans defensive line looks really, really good. You know, Aaron Foster did well. The most yards ever by a running back in their first 3 playoff games, which is pretty. You know, that's a decently impressive stat.
yeah. I saw that, man.
Yeah, J.J. Watt. What's his name? Oh, I don't know. J.J. Watt. Is it Antonio Smith? I don't think so. I thought Sean Cody, Jared Crick, Terrell McLean, Earl Mitchell, Antonio Smith, J.J. Watt. That's their D-line.
I just know he's white. That's what I do. Right. He's white.
Well, Earl Mitchell is not white. Antonio Smith is not white. Terrell McLean is Terrell. Is that a white person's name?
It can be.
Jared Crick is right. I'm gonna say Jared Crick. I'm gonna say Brooks Reed. Brooks Reed. Their outside linebacker. He also. Oh, Connor Barwin. There you go. No, Connor Barwin's their outside linebacker, but that's him, number 98. I'm pretty sure, because he was doing really, really well. I think.
Is he white?
He's white.
His name? Yeah, there you go. So that's him.
I do remember hearing his name a lot. Connor Barwin, and Brooks Reed as well. They looked really good. The Bengals struggled. Had a chance at the end with a last-minute touchdown to A.J. Green that Andy Dalton missed. But what do you guys take? What do you guys take from the Bengals-Texans game, Markeem?
I take the fact that the Texans defense could possibly be right now in the playoffs the best. Like, you know, that they look completely, like, the front looked completely unblockable. Like, it was crazy. And the Bengals offensive line is not bad.
No.
It's not bad. Like, it's not world breaking, you know what I mean? But they're not bad. You know,
they have a Pro Bowler on there, don't they?
Yeah. Look it up, kid. You're good. Yeah, you're good at that. And they got completely outplayed and just overmatched and just kind of decimated. And that lets me know right there, if that defense does that, you know, against the Patriots, they have a shot. They got to score. Schaub cannot be this bad. He cannot give them what he's given them like the last month of the season, man. I'm sorry, kid. I know you love him. The last month of the season, he hasn't been very good. He can't do that.
I'll drop a stat on you after you finish your point, but keep going.
Yeah, but he can't do that. And they need him to play better. But you know, I have all the faith in the world in Arian Foster. Andre Johnson, hate the motherfucker, but he's unstoppable. And that's a dangerous squad, man. What I gathered is that they are the best defense left in the playoffs. That's what I gathered from that game.
I totally disagree. Those cornerbacks got exposed once again.
Jacoby Jones, the Pro Bowler, and he's a beast. Not Jacoby Jones. What am I saying? Jonathan Joseph. Don't be disrespecting Jonathan Joseph.
Yeah, Jonathan Joseph can play, man.
I'm not disrespecting, but those cornerbacks are a tad overrated, is what I'm saying. Like, they may still. Let me backtrack.
Look,
they
man,
may still be the best.
The way the Texans play, they just got to be good enough. They don't have to be great.
Well, that's true. In the Bengals game, but I don't think that's that. You know, we'll get to that, but I don't.
I mean, look at the Broncos. Like, you know, let's think about all the great defenses. Look at the Broncos. Von Miller is an elite player, and Elvis Dumerville, when he decided to show up as an elite player. But outside from those two, you got Champ Bailey, who, as much as I love the guy, you know, he's just a solid corner now. He's not what he used to be. You know what I mean, the secondary themselves, they're solid. You know what I mean? The Texans have they have the best defensive player in the game and playmakers all throughout their front. You know what I mean? Look at the Niners right now, for as great as they are. You know what I mean? And the defense is great. I actually totally agree with Skip Bayless when he said Justin Smith not being there makes them a totally different defense. Not even the same. They are no longer as intimidating as they were, and we'll get to that in a second. You know, I don't want to disrespect your boys, Phil, but you know your Patriots deep. You know them niggas suspect. You know that. I don't have to say it.
Well, right.
Who else left?
Seattle.
Seattle. Well, never mind. I take that back. Seattle has the best defense left.
Right. Because their corner. That's what I was gonna say. Like, that's who I think is the best.
I forgot about them, but the Texans are second, and
the Ravens. The Ravens.
But here's the thing. As well as they played on Saturday, I think a lot of that had to do with them being home. and playing against a team that was very limited offensively. Because Andrew Luck's supporting cast is the worst in the NFL. I'm gonna fuck with nobody. Andrew Luck is playing on the worst team in the NFL. Yes, I said it. They are terrible. Him and Reggie Wayne are surrounded by shit. They are.
Hey, don't you be disrespecting FIU Miami-Dade's own T.Y. Hilton.
Like I said, they are
playing with crap.
They are surrounded by shit. The fact they were even in the playoffs, and the fact that they were even able to stay competitive with the Ravens for as long as they were. Yeah, I mean, asking a rookie to throw the ball 50+ times, him getting knocked on his ass, him not having time to throw, and still being respectable. You know what I mean? Like, that team is so bad. They got so many things they need to fix. Andrew, if that game right there was not indication that Andrew Luck is definitely the rookie of the year, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Like that, they are terrible. They are all, and the defense legit. It was only because the Ravens couldn't get anything going. There was a lot of miscues. Had nothing to do with, like, if you watch that game, had nothing to do with their defensive stops. They were just not connecting on offense. That's all that was. That's why in the fourth quarter they had their way with them on offense, because they were able to figure shit out by that point. You know what I mean? Like, it was terrible. They suck. They suck bad.
So, one thing, I mean, I was, like I said, what I was going to say to add to what I was saying about the Texans, I just think if that, and it's been proven before, mainly in the Patriots game, which I know, whatever, but if that line is able to be remotely controlled, like, they get exposed, like, or they're not the line, but the cornerbacks can get lit up. I mean, I think that it all depends, which obviously, but I mean, it depends on that defensive line and how they play. And I think they played great against the Bengals, so it didn't really matter how much, you know, they were able to get away with a lot of stuff. You know, I mean, you saw AJ Green. You know, he said that, and he was right.
but minus the Jaguars game, though. You know, look at the quarterbacks they played. That has happened to, you know, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady.
Well, right. But that's my point, because their next matchup is against Tom Brady, so that's why I'm bringing that up. Like, I mean,
if you want to bring up, I mean, we're not going to get into our prediction next week. I'm just going to say this, and please do not respond. You'll get your chance to respond. I promise.
Oh,
but
gosh.
People bring up the threat of Will Fork. Well, I'm sorry, you may not like me saying this, but I think Geno Atkins is better than that dude. And,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Who? Geno Atkins.
Whoa, hey, you sound like trademark, Phil.
I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay, all right.
And Geno Atkins was a complete non-factor in the Bengals-Texans game. But Markeem, what is it?
Will not be a non-factor.
They stayed away from him though. Like they didn't even attack him. So.
But what do you, Markeem? What does it say about the Bengals?
I think the Bengals just aren't there yet, man. I think they still got some problems they need to fix with that well, not the offensive line, but like with the offensive scheme in general. I think that AJ Green is another playmaker next to them. You know what I mean? Because nobody else even demands attention from them in terms of receivers. Nobody else. You know what I mean? Like AJ Green gets doubled and tripled. You know what I mean? It's yeah. And I think also that I think they need just that one big play guy, you know what I mean, on offense. And I think Geno Atkins needs somebody else on that line with him, because they are good against the run, but they are not good at pressuring the QB at all. So it's going to be bad for them. I don't think they can win a playoff game without someone. You know what I mean? Geno Atkins is a clock run stopper, complete, you know, shut you down. You know what I mean? But they need those guys that will attack the QB, because you need that in the playoffs. I mean, look, the Packers made a run. Look, Clay Matthews was, you know, having like one of the best, you know, seasons ever for a linebacker in, you know, in playoff history. You know what I mean? You got you know, look at the Giants last year. You know, you need to do that in the playoffs, and if you can't, you're not gonna win.
So Phil, what does this tell you about the Texans and Bengals, without mentioning the Patriots game? What does this tell you about both teams?
I think it tells that if the Texans D line can play like they you know, dominant that they have been, I think it proves that they don't have to score a whole lot. Like, I mean, they scored a lot of field. I mean, they really could. They kicked like what? I think it was 3 or 4 field goals, I want to say.
More than that. They only had
maybe more than that.
They only had one touchdown. So
one touchdown, right? So that proves, you know, that they can handle when their D line's playing that well. They don't have to, you know, they can settle for those field goals. So I think that says that. I think the Texans, and when they're able to run like they want to with Foster, I think it proves that when they do the things that they want to do, and they execute those things, they're a really good team. I think as far as the Bengals, like I said, like Markeem said, I just don't think they're there just yet. I don't know if I'm not going to go as far as you say Marvin Lewis will never win a playoff game.
I really meant that for this year. I don't know if that's going to be on my record.
Oh, I thought you meant it forever. Okay,
well
if you just meant this year, that's fine.
Well, no. For right now, until I see otherwise, I'll say forever.
Okay. Well, and it really, I think it really does come down to matchup and who they'll face, and that's how I'll have to look at it. But I think the Bengals have a bright future, and I agree 100% with Markeem. They need somebody opposite of A.J. Green. They need like a Julio Jones, Roddy White combo type deal. They need A.J. Green and somebody else. Not even that great. It doesn't have to be that great, but
I mean, like look at all the playoff teams right now. All the teams that's left. You got Wes Welker, Brandon Lloyd.
Well,
as stupid as I think he is, Brandon Lloyd is an explosive monster. You know what I mean?
Well, look what. Yeah, I mean,
you got Julio Jones. Roddy, you got Julio Jones, Roddy White. You got Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings. Yeah, I mean, you got
Texas are like the only one that are just like they have Andre Johnson, and who's like there's like a big drop off.
But at least minus Andre Johnson,
they have Owen Daniel. Owen Daniels is a little bit.
Yeah, Owen Daniels is the second best receiver on that team.
But
that's what I'm saying.
And they have there's a lot of solid guys too. The Bengals, I wouldn't even call those dudes solid, man.
I could Marvin Jones and Jermaine Gresham, please.
They should have kept Jerome Simpson.
All right. Well, so that game was that. Texans go on to play the Patriots. Bengals go on at home. Moving on, Vikings-Packers. Obviously, the big news in this one was that Christian Ponder was hurt at the start of the game. Joe Webb had to come in. Joe Webb was severely criticized for his performance. He went 11 of 30 for, I forget, I think it was like 150 yards. One touchdown.
Worst completion record in playoff history, I think.
Damn.
I think I saw that right. If I saw that right.
I will say this. Here, I want to start this one off just saying this. I think Joe Webb was put in the worst position possible. He has not been playing all year, and he just threw him onto a team in the playoffs in Lambeau, one of the hardest places to play, with a team that he hasn't been working with all year, and he hasn't been consistently practicing with, and just go out there and win us a playoff game. And I thought, the first half was pretty bad. The second half, I think it's kind of underreported. He didn't play great, but he played better. Like, it's not like he was playing shitty the whole game. No, the second half, he was significantly improved. It still obviously wasn't enough to win, and it wasn't enough to be. And
Trey, hold on, time. I hate to cut you off, but trademark. Yeah, I'm bringing him up. I'm bringing you up again, fool. He pissed me off, saying this is the worst performance ever by a quarterback in the playoffs. He must didn't see that Super Bowl with Rich Gannon versus the Buccaneers. He didn't see that.
Oh gosh.
How about T.J. Yates last year throwing 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter?
Yeah. How about that? Come on, man.
Like. Joe Webb played a lot better the second half. I think some people saw his first drive and immediately said, this guy sucks, they have no chance. And they didn't have a chance, and his completion percentage was terrible. But the second half, he really did play a lot better. Like, he was throwing the ball better, he was completing the ball better. They had that touchdown. He played a lot better. Again, it's still not good, but I think the story here isn't Joe Webb. The story here is it was just a bad situation for the Vikings. And let's be honest, they were stopping Adrian Peterson. Christian Ponder may have.
You really think Christian Ponder would have won that game?
No. Like I know people say, "Oh, well, Christian Ponder had the best game of his career last week." Yeah, and last week he also had Adrian Peterson running the ball 33 times. Okay,
they were also in
for 199 yards.
They're also in a dome.
Yes. Like, you really think if Christian Ponder was asked to throw 35 times, 40 times this game, do you really think he would have done enough to win? Come on, son.
I think it's closer. That's about as far as I'll go.
Maybe. Like,
when I mean closer, I mean like maybe like a 10.
I think he plays better, but the score is exactly the same.
Like, again here, and I really feel bad for Joe Webb because he was put in a really bad situation and was embarrassed. But that's the NFL, man. Like, we've talked about this before. That's just how it works sometimes. And I forget. One ESPN analysis said this. I forget who. It might have been Trent Dilfer, but it was a great point. Like, Joe Webb in the first quarter, when he was struggling, all the Packers, they could have put 12 guys in the box, and because they knew that Joe Webb couldn't complete a pass. So it's like, oh, do you want to throw? Fucking throw here. Put 12 guys in there, and the result was what it was. But I felt bad for Joe Webb, the Vikings. I mean, I didn't expect them to win this game. I actually think if the Bears win this game, I thought it would have been much more competitive. I think the Bears are the better team. I just think the Vikings, they got hot towards the end. I don't know if you guys agree with me there or not, but
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, but it is what it is. Packers move on to the next game.
One thing I want to say is props to the Packers, because at first it looked like Webb was the running factor was going to get to him a little bit, but they adjusted really fast.
Yes, they did.
So,
yeah, good.
I don't get why he just didn't run more. That dude got wheels, man. Back when he was at UAB, he could run.
He should just ran, just not even try to pass.
Phil, I'll start off with you. What does this say about the Vikings and the Packers?
I think it's well, as far as the Vikings, I don't think it can really say a whole lot, because it's not not that I think Ponder would make would have given him a chance to win, but I'm saying, like, I don't think this really says much about this. It says the Vikings had a great year, just they came up short. I mean, sometimes that happens. No one had the Vikings turning around like this. So
I had them last in the NFC North by a lot.
I did too.
Same.
So
I had them as the worst team in the NFL at the start of the season.
And as far as the Packers, good luck to anybody that's got to face that team, because the Packers, I just feel like this is a team that's going to get better every week. I think they go to the NFC Championship game, but we'll get to that.
And Markeem, your precious Packers, your Vikings, thoughts?
Adrian Peterson, props to him for carrying this team as far as he did. You look at that roster, man. They really aren't that talented. Let's be honest.
Outside of Jerome Simpson.
They got a lot of problems. Jared Allen's still a lot of people don't know he's still having a great season. Jared Allen still a monster. But they, aside from them two, they really don't have anything else really worth talking about. To be honest with you, they really don't have a receiver. We all know how I feel about Christian Ponder. So it's kind of remarkable. They're like the Colts. It's remarkable they're here. You know what I mean?
And the Percy Harvin that wasn't there.
That's the norm though. And the Packers, I'm not going to be as nice as everyone has been. The first half, that is the Aaron Rodgers, because I'm going to call them the Aaron Rodgers, Clay Matthews, a bust. That's why I call that team. Because the first half, he was everything I say he always is, but the second half, he was terrible. I know the game, was pretty much well in their hands and stuff like that, but he flat out didn't play well. A lot of stupid throws. He threw this deep pass to Jordy Nelson that was literally right in the defender's hands. He dropped it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is not Aaron Rodgers, and I don't want to see this guy next week, or what I think will happen will not happen. Let's just put it like that. So,
yeah, same thing, pretty much, same thoughts. This is one of the only games that didn't tell us anything. Maybe about the Aaron Rodgers second half thing, but we expected the Vikings to lose, and we expected the Packers to win solidly and to just move on. So, no real story.
One thing I thought was pretty interesting, and he's done this before, I think. Aaron Rodgers threw 10 different receivers.
Damn.
That's a bad man.
That's a bad man.
Next we got the Colts-Ravens games. We already spoke about this a little bit. Ray Lewis doing the dance at the start. I've seen that thing 10,000 times. And doing the dance at the start and all that jazz. But it was very, very emotional, very, very sad, ending to his
quiet.
Career. But yeah, Ray Lewis.
I was in tears, man. I wasn't in front. I'll be 100%. I'm man enough to admit that. Not the first dance, but the dance at the end of the game. There was a tear coming down my cheek. I ain't gonna lie. That
almost brought tears to my eyes too. I completely understand.
Did you hear that Reggie Wayne said that was disrespectful?
And I can see why he felt that way, but that's a special circumstance.
Right.
Let that nigga dance and be quiet. You know what I mean? This is his last home game, man. Let him
I agree. I understand what he was coming from.
And Reggie Wayne, being a fellow representative from the U, should have had a little more respect than that. Just gonna say that. But yeah, very, very, very sad moment. close game for the most part. I mean, I know people look at the score and be like, what? But, you know, it was 10-6 at halftime. Colts were being competitive on every drive. It was 17-9, one-possession game for a long time, and Vinatieri missed a field goal. And, you know, God bless him. He had already made 3. His leg was probably tired. And then Ravens made another touchdown at the very end to just, like, seal it away. Colts couldn't come back in time. Markeem, you first this time. What does this say about Colts? What does it say about the Ravens?
I already said pretty much all I need to say about the Colts. They're terrible, man. It's not much really good I can say about that supporting cast besides Andrew Luck and Reggie Wayne. You know, Dwight Freeney is not the player he used to be, dog. I don't. What you said?
I was gonna say. I said not at all.
Yeah, because
dominant force.
I don't remember him doing anything in that game. Like, not hearing his name once. You know what I mean? The defense, you know, in general, it's not that they play overly well. It's just the Ravens didn't click on offense. The Colts were actually really lucky that that game was as close as it was, you know? And it's not much to say about the Colts, man. They suck. The Ravens, though, if they play like that every week, I may have to go to my initial my preseason, they're going to be in the Super Bowl pick. Because, man, they played on defense. They played inspired. And I cannot imagine, you know, the offense being like that again. You know what I mean? But if the defense play like that again, you know what I mean? And then the offense actually execute, dude. You know what I mean? Dude. Like, they played, at least defensively, that looked like old school, you know, 2000 through 2005 Baltimore Ravens. That was punishing shit there, man. Like Ray Lewis with how many tackles he had? 13, wasn't it?
13.
You know, that with one arm, you know what I mean? That's like old school Ray Lewis, you know what I mean? Terrell Suggs like he did back in Arizona State. Ed Reed was all over the field. I got goosebumps looking at that shit, man. They were amazing. Amazing.
And Phil? Colts, Ravens?
I think for the Colts, it's just, you know, how can they get any? They can't get any worse. I don't think, you know, outside of, you know, something crazy. So I mean, they're only going to get better. I think the Colts will be. It still depends on schedule, but I think they'll be in the mix next year as again. Andrew Luck will only get better. Screw the sophomore slump. I don't think he'll have one. As far as the Ravens, I mean, this is. You know, this could be the start of a story. I'm hoping it won't be, but you know, yeah, I think the Ravens, if they play like Markeem said, if they play like this, I mean, should be. I think you know we'll get to that game, but I mean, I think the Ravens still have a. By the way, Joe Flacco, I think he's the only quarterback to win playoff game in his first 5 years.
He's the only one.
Yeah, only one in history.
I feel old. Like, I don't know why that makes me feel old, but Flacco being in the league 5 years makes me feel old.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I think the Ravens, you know, will move on to play Denver. That's what it is.
Nothing really much to say. Again, I mean, I picked the Colts to win, but midway through the first quarter, I kind of saw that, it's probably not going to go that way. Nothing too surprising here. Again, pretty expected. Then we get to the Seahawks-Redskins.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I mean, I could say this before this, but what I was going to say is I honestly did not see both Ravens and Texans winning. Like, obviously I picked the Bengals to win, but I thought once I was wrong there, I was like, well, maybe the Colts do actually beat the Ravens, but I just did not, you know, all home teams won except for, you know.
Except for the one that was expected,
right.
The Seahawks-Redskins. Let's try not to talk too much about RG3 here. We already set a number on that, and Shanahan. As far as the rest of the team, I mean, Seahawks look good. I mean, I didn't say this with you guys. I put it on the description box of the video of the last YouTube take. But when you guys were discussing, like, you know, are we keeping your Super Bowl picks? You with Broncos, Packers, you with Patriots, Falcons. And I didn't get to say mine because, I mean, the Bears aren't in the playoffs.
I was trying to remember that, too, and then I saw you put that. I was like, okay, fine. I wanted to know who his team was.
I put it up, Texans, Seahawks. You know, if it's not the Seahawks, it's the Falcons. I really do think once the Falcons, like, you know, it's kind of what they said about LeBron James if he wins his first title. Once LeBron gets through that hump of winning the title, like, you know, the floodgates could possibly open and he can win several more. I think once the Falcons get through that hump of winning their first playoff game, I really do believe they're talented enough to go to the Super Bowl. But because I got burned, as I'll talk about later, because I got burned by Tony Romo, I'm not going to go against history. And I'm going to go against them winning a playoff game until they show me otherwise. And that's why I had the Seahawks winning that game. But we'll get to that. But yeah, the Seahawks are my team to go to the Super Bowl. They're just so like I said, they're well talented in every area of the game. There's very little things that they do wrong. Their secondary is great. Their cornerbacks are great. Their quarterback is great. Their running back is great. Their receivers are pretty good. I mean, say what you want about Sidney Rice and Golden Tate. They're talented dudes. You know, their O-line's pretty good. Like, you know,
good enough. You know, solid.
There's almost nothing wrong with their game. So that's why I have them going all the way. But they looked at the first possession or two, their offense really struggled in this game against the Redskins, but they very quickly picked up, and they showed why they were, I don't know if you guys knew this, number 4 in overall offense, number 4 in overall defense, number 3 in special teams. Like,
didn't know that.
How does that not tell you that this is the most balanced team in football? And that's what the Giants were last year, and look what they did. So I trust this team. The Texans, I should have clarified this last week. It's not that I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. In fact, my brain tells me it's the Broncos, but I'm not going to hedge my bets. I'm not going to be Skip Bayless. Because if the Texans do go to the Super Bowl, I want to be able to say that I've called it this whole time from the start. And I'm sticking with my team. Do I think they'll go to the Super Bowl? I'm not sure. I'm still decided on that. But I'm sticking with my team, and I'm going to pick them to go to the Super Bowl because I said that at the start, and I'm going all the way with that. I'm not backing out now like Skip. Instead, I'm going to stick with the team I called from the start, and I'm picking the Texans. Hope you guys...
Hedging your bets with Professor Bayless.
I ain't hedging my bets for shit today. I'm sticking with the Texans. So I have a Texans-Seahawks Super Bowl under my framework. Not...
That would be the first time a rookie's ever went to the Super Bowl, too.
Oh, yeah. Which would be incredible.
No. Ben Roethlisberger.
No. Championship game, not Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ben went to the Super Bowl his second year.
Yeah.
Sure about that?
Yeah.
Positive.
Because I saw something about if Russell Wilson would be the first.
His rookie year was the 15-1 season when they lost to the Patriots in the championship game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, y'all right.
So, anyways, this game was, pretty much what I expected from the Seahawks. Dominant offensively, dominant defensively, and, Leon Washington's a beast on special teams. Markeem, your turn this time. Actually, no. Phil, your turn this time. Redskins, Seahawks, what does this game say about any of them?
I think what it says, RG3 got hurt and all that management, and, we've talked that out the butt. So, I think that's, we'll see how he comes back and all that. That's how the Redskins' future lies. And then, of course, keeping their defense healthy. We saw they lost two crucial players early in the season for them. So, that'll be a key for them next season. And as far as the Seahawks go, they move on, and I think it's a good story there. I think that matchup against Atlanta's pretty good. I think that should be a good game. And we'll get to that game later. But Seahawks are rolling, so we'll see what happens. You heard me say I think they're the best defense in the playoff right now. So.
Markeem?
Y'all know how I feel about RG3. I'm not gonna get too deep in it. I feel like if he was 100%, I don't want to sound like Skip Bayless. I don't think they would have won the game handedly like Skip. Y'all saw Skip tweet that, right?
Yeah, handily, yeah.
Like he kept saying it to him first thing. I don't know about that, but I think they do win that game though. Seriously, I really think so. I really believe they just do what they always do and they win that game. But with that being said, the Seahawks played extremely well that second half on offense, and I feel like when they moving it like that, they're a hard team to beat, man. Like that secondary is already legit. You know what I mean? And then when they moving the ball like that, it's gonna be hard for anybody to beat them. But like I said, the Redskins. I believe the Redskins will get better and better as time goes along. I really believe that in like 3 to 5 years they could be in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Maybe 2 years from now. Who knows?
Opposing luck, maybe.
Oh my God! Do y'all know what that would do to me? Do y'all have any idea what that would do to me? That would tear me up. That would tear me apart. Don't say stuff like that. I'd be so distraught. Like if we were still doing this show, I wouldn't even pick that. Yeah, I wouldn't even record that week. I couldn't do it. Y'all wouldn't even hear from me. But I really really like the Seahawks, man. I do a lot.
And I'm gonna say this. What was it? Oh yeah. I still think Luck should be Rookie of the Year. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a testament that Luck and RG3 get all the hype, and the last rookie quarterback left standing, Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Said it last week.
And it's not like he's Mark Sanchez or Joe Flacco or even Big Ben a little bit in Big Ben's rookie season. Because those are the three. There's 5 quarterbacks that have won a playoff game. T.J. Yates, Sean King, Big Ben, Mark Sanchez, and Joe Flacco.
Oh, did you just say Sean King? You mean
Yes.
Tim Tebow?
Oh my God.
Okay, go ahead.
Sean. So those 4 of those 5 quarterbacks. I mean, well, arguably 5 of the 5, but definitely Sanchez and Flacco. I mean, they were there because they had a tremendous running attack and they had a tremendous defense. They were not there because of their amazing quarterback prowess. Like Big Ben's first year, I mean, they were killing teams on the ground. That wasn't because Big Ben was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They were just a tough team to beat. But Russell Wilson, he is not riding on Marshawn Lynch and a great defense, even though they're both great. Russell Wilson can ball, and Russell Wilson has a big part into why this offense is the number 4 offense in football, honestly. So I want to give him some respect right now for doing what he's done, because it's been incredible. All right. We go into the playoffs this week. Like I said, me and Phil are 3-1. Markeem is 2-2. Kind of like college football at the start, when me and Phil were dominating and Markeem was sitting behind us, not knowing college football. But we start off with the first game of the week, and I'm surprised that this is the Saturday game. Usually this game is the...
can I rant about that for a second?
Sure,
Go
ahead.
Phil.
Gosh, you guys have no idea how bad I wanted the Patriots game on Saturday. No idea.
No.
If you guys don't know, I'm really involved with church, and I have literally, the only way I could watch it was if it was at 1 o'clock. 4:30, I have 2 options. Either I follow it on my phone, or I tape it and just go. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Just blank myself out from the world and just hope no one spoils it while I'm at church. That would kill me to have to come back and watch this game.
I got you. Yeah, but usually the number 1 seed plays on Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. But for whatever reason, both the number 1 seeds are playing the early games. But I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just a slight thing. So the first game of the week, Baltimore Ravens go on the road to the Denver Broncos. Markeem, who's winning this game?
I really want to pick the Ravens. I really want to pick the Ravens, but the Broncos have looked so great. Like the end of the season. I think in the first half they'll struggle though. I really do. I think in the first half it will be a battle, and I think by the end of the game the Broncos just pull away. I just think they're that good. I think Peyton Manning ain't fucking around this year. I really believe that, man. I think they win close game because of the first half, but I think they win. But the second half is pretty convincing. Let's just put it like that.
Okay. Phil?
I'm kind of the same way with Markeem. I think that I would love for the Ravens to win this game, but I think that Denver pulls it out. I think they do, like he said. I think they do struggle somewhat in the game. I think it's closer than most people would think. Hopefully, we get some close games this week. By the way, but I think Denver pulls it out. I wouldn't be shocked. I really am concerned, and this is me being a Patriots fan because it's happened to us. But with the streak, I don't know if it would hurt the Broncos or not, but I still kind of hold that over them with them going. They haven't lost a game since October 7th. That's
that might be a bad thing,
and it may not get them to the Super Bowl because that's when they got the Patriots. So I mean,
whoa. Well, that's when they could have the Patriots or the Texans.
No, I said that's when it got the Patriots.
Oh, that's when it. Oh, really?
Yeah, Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
You guys hadn't lost a game last year until October 7th?
No, not that long, but we were on a streak going into the playoffs. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was a long time since they had lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think that could happen. It's hard to go that long without having a bad game and win. And losing. So, but I still have the Broncos winning this game, and they'll go on to the AFC Championship game. Huge story for Peyton. Huge story. And that'll be it for Ray Lewis. That'll be a sad moment to watch. Thank God this is on Saturday. Well, not thank God, but Anyways, luckily I at least get to watch this game fully. Well, I'll get to watch the other one too. Anyways, move on.
Part of me wanted to pick the Ravens, like you guys, like with the whole emotion, roll. But I mean, I don't know if you guys know this. Peyton Manning is my favorite football player of all time. Like more.
No, we didn't know that, kid.
No, but like more
shocked.
more so than any Dolphins players. Like
we're so shocked, kid. We're so shocked.
that I like Peyton Manning more than any Dolphins player ever. That should be kind of a shock.
Not a shock to me. That's all you do whenever you talk about Peyton. You know, Peyton did this, and he was so.
And as a quarterback, something Miami doesn't ever have.
Yes, he's the quarterback father that I've always wanted, obviously. But my team is the Texans in the playoffs right now, but the number one team I want to win the Super Bowl is the Broncos because I want Peyton to get that second ring. That's what I want. So
people can be like, "Shut up about Eli." Like, y'all need to.
You know how many people were saying that last year? Like,
I knew it was going to start as soon as it was over. I knew it was going to start.
But like, it's just like my friend asked me because he was interviewing kids around school for like the newspaper, who's better, Peyton or Eli? And I was like, is that even a question? And then he was like, well, believe it or not, it's kind of 50-50 right now. And I was like appalled. Like,
That's a diss to Peyton.
How the hell can you think Eli Manning is as good as his older brother? It's impossible. So,
if you ask Eli, he'd be like, nah.
Yeah, he even said, like, did you hear him on the Letterman show? They were like, Dave was like, so Eli, like, what do you do at the family reunion where you're like, hey, Pepe, come over here, two, yeah, look at them. And then Eli's like, yeah, well, then he can shove his 4 MVP awards to my 0 into my face.
Yeah, that'll be the day Eli Manning wins MVP.
And he's dope for that.
So, but believe it or not, I really, I love Ray Lewis. Like, obviously not just a UM thing. And then I've always loved the Ravens, UM pride and all. The Ravens and the Texans are the two teams that have the most UM players of any other team on their rosters. But I really, 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 even like this is hard for me because I need to see one of these teams win and I want to see teams lose. That's why I was kind of hoping the Colts would win because I could see the Colts Broncos and not care. But I
wanted to see that because I wanted to see Andrew Luck versus Peyton Manning.
Me too. Man. Yeah, I was rooting for that after Saturday.
But this is hard for me to pick. But I think the Broncos are just better. Like honestly, the Broncos are like the Seahawks. They almost do nothing wrong. And I mean, people don't talk about this much, but Decker, and granted, all the credit in the world is given to Peyton, but Decker and Thomas really are one of the best receiving corps in all of football. Like honestly,
Peyton Manning is one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Don't get me wrong.
That's what I'd say to that.
Don't get me wrong. No, Peyton.
I'll give you Thomas, but no.
Peyton makes them. I'm not denying that. Peyton makes them, but I mean, Jesus, like what he's created with these two, like he hasn't had that type of 1-2 punch in Indianapolis. I mean, Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison, like in 03 or 04, like Harrison's last 2 years, but I mean, since then he hasn't had that type of, I could throw it to him, and be fine. Like both these guys can ball, and the Broncos are just better. I mean, at the end of the day, the Broncos are just better. Honestly. And I don't see what the Ravens can do. If anything, the Ravens' biggest detriment, Flacco on their offense, it could be a problem, as Vinny Verhey reported on ESPN Insider. Like, the Broncos, whether people like to admit it or not, they have one of the most dangerous pass rushes in all of football. And, Flacco got sacked by the Colts. Much less could he be sacked by the fucking Broncos. I mean, like, it's just... I just don't see the Ravens winning. And don't get me wrong, I'm rooting for the Broncos because I'm rooting for Payne to get that ring. But that doesn't mean it's going to hurt me inside to see the Ravens have to take an L and see Ray Lewis play his last game. But yeah, that's all I got to say on that.
If it really is his last game, but
I don't know, man. He has a son that's going to play football at UM, and he says he wants to be there for. I really think this is the year.
This is all Brett Favre's fault. Now he's saying
nobody would second guess this if Brett Favre hadn't done that bullshit. But
next we got the Green Bay Packers going on the road to the San Francisco 49ers. Phil, who wins this game?
I got the Packers. I'm actually kind of confident in this. I don't know why. I mean, it's bad because I really don't have a significant reason. I just think the Packers are going to continue from what they did last week against the Vikings, and they're going to go, and they have kind of a chip on their shoulder from losing to this same team. It was week 1, but still, or week 2. Was it week 1 or week 2? One of those, whatever.
It was week 1.
Week 1, right? So, I think the Packers come in and they beat the Niners. I just think the big question here is Kaepernick. How will he play in a playoff game? We'll see. And I just got the Packers. I'm sorry for the analysis on this one. I just don't really have nothing to say. I just think the Packers win this.
Want me to go now?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, the biggest question in this game, I don't even think it's Kaepernick, is Justin Smith's arm. Because if he cannot draw the attention he usually draws, Aldon Smith will not be able to do what he's been doing all year. Like, people don't understand, that dude is a cannonball. I mean, he's a ball of energy that, gets to pretty much run free because Justin Smith is terrorizing the middle. He has one arm right now. Like, if the Patriots, if the Packers can do enough to kind of shut him, trying to contain him as much as possible, Aldon Smith won't be able to run free like he always does. They already are barely able to run the ball, so they, I feel like if they do enough to be balanced on offense to some degree, like instead of Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball 50 times a game, he throws the ball 35 times this game. You know what I mean? I think they win simply because of Justin Smith being hurt. Like, for that reason alone, I am extremely confident because of Justin Smith being hurt that the Packers get it done. Like, but I tell you what though, the second half of that Vikings game scared the hell out of me. Hope Aaron Rodgers like that was like a different person. So I hope we don't get that again. If we don't, they win.
I'm going with the 49ers here. Now, granted, I'm not using this as my only evidence because you're comparing Ray Lewis you're comparing Justice Smith to Ray Lewis. I mean, but Ray Lewis, remember, he and Justice Smith had the same injury. And Ray Lewis you couldn't even tell that the dude was hurt. He had a huge...
Yeah, but Justice Smith, see, the thing is, Ray Lewis actually had surgery and got to sit down for a little bit.
Okay, fair enough.
Justice Smith is not, he's wrapping it up and going out there.
All right, I wasn't aware of that. That's different. But let me say this much, that Justice Smith is the key to that defense, and I know Markeem likes to shit on their secondary and all, but like I saw these guys last year, and I saw them earlier in the season against the Packers, but Dante Whitner and whatever the fuck the other guy's name is, I've seen him play several times, and I can never remember his name, but Dante Whitner and
Charles Rogers.
No, it's not Charles Rogers. I forget what his. Again, I don't remember what his fucking name is.
Carlos Rogers.
Carlos Rogers, I think. Yeah, Dante Whitner and Carlos Rogers. They both are monsters back there. I know the Patriots kind of exposed them, but remember those first 3 quarters when Brady couldn't do shit to them? Like, let me make sure. Hold on, let me make sure I got their names right. Dante Whitner, Deshaun Goldston. That's who it is. Dante Whitner and Deshaun Goldston. I mean, those guys are monsters in the safety zone, and I saw them in Week 1 completely make Aaron Rodgers a non-factor. I think that was their lowest scoring game all season.
But Aaron Rodgers was also struggling at that point.
Fair enough.
He's not anymore.
I have faith in the 49ers defense. I think Justice Smith, I mean, you said it yourself, Justice Smith, his presence is what allows Aldon Smith. He draws the attention that lets Aldon Smith do what he does. It's not like Justice Smith is the one getting 19 sacks. And I do agree.
But he has to be effective in some way.
Again, I agree. He does, in fact, have to be effective. But I think that it's honestly, now I've never had the triceps injury, and I'm not saying that it won't affect him. It will affect him to a huge degree. But I honestly think it won't be to the point where he will not be able to draw any sort of attention his way to give Aldon Smith the lane to go in for the kill. Like, I really, really do think he'll do just enough to draw that attention. And don't forget about these linebackers, man. I mean, Patrick Willis.
Yeah, Bowman and Willis, but they're not pass rushers though.
No, they're not. I'm really saying I think that Smith is going to create enough of a distraction for Aldon to run in, and I really do think the Niners have enough to win because offensively they've gotten a lot better. Like Frank Gore, I think the Packers prepared very well for AP. But people forget that AP did put 409 on these fools. Their run defense is ranked one of the lowest in the NFL. And Frank Gore can be very effective. And I think, will they able to stop Kaepernick? They couldn't stop Joe Webb. When Joe Webb was doing those running routes, I mean, Joe Webb ran right through them. So you really do think Colin Kaepernick is not going to have a better chance at doing that? Like, Crabtree's been playing better. I got the Niners here. I like the Packers, but I expected them to beat the Vikings, but like you guys as well. I thought the second half was a bit of a question mark. I thought they didn't look like the team that I thought could have gone to the NFC title game. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I like the Niners more, but I would love to see the Seahawks Packers rematch. I'm sure we all would, but
been in on the same bad call.
I still got the same trust in the Niners. I'm not giving up on them just yet. So I got the 49ers. By the way, I also want to say...
Hey, look. I'm by no means saying it's a lock, man. Like,
right.
y'all, I told y'all preseason I picked the Niners to win it all, and then that Patriots game happened, and then Justin Smith got hurt. I was like, man, fuck this. I'm out.
And let me also say this, fuck you trademark as well for saying that this comment that really pissed me off. You know your team sucks when you allow 2 touchdowns to the fullback.
Yeah. Remember when LV put, you can't talk football for the rest of the night? Yeah. That was funny.
Listen, son.
Oh, and trademark, one and done Seahawks, huh? Shut the fuck up.
I remember that. I remember that.
He was so sure of himself. They're one and done. I can't see them doing anything. Yo, dude, just watch the Giants and shut up, please. Just seriously. Oh, my bad. You can't do that. My bad.
John. Ooh.
I know it. I can't watch the Eagles. I know, but I wasn't calling them world breakers.
Don't
like
worry.
You were about the Giants. You make it seem like the Giants are Asgardians, and we're just mere mortals. That's how you make it seem.
Let me, by the way, John Kuhn, for those who do not know, I had him on my fantasy football team last year. Dude was a monster. It was almost guaranteed a touchdown a game, a touchdown every other game. Like, he legitimately scored almost all the time. I think he had like 8 touchdowns last year or something like that. Like, you know, he can ball. He's good. So don't be disrespecting John Kuhn.
Yeah, trademark, you fucking fool. You don't remember Mike Allstott, you goddamn idiot?
He'll probably say, who?
If he does on that one, I'm done. Mike Allstott, come on.
So, anyways, now we move on to the next game.
Hold on, we be burying him on the show. 1 week, we gotta let him get on here and himself.
We do.
Yeah, but then we'll just be yelling.
That might make it worse, though. That might make it worse, though. We start naming players you don't know.
Next, we got the Seahawks, my team, against the Falcons, Phil's team. Falcons, the big story with them, you know, they haven't won a playoff game in years. In 2008, they lost to the Cardinals, who went on to win the Super Bowl. In 2010, they lost to the Packers badly, who went on to go to the Super Bowl. In 2000, and last year, they lost to the Giants, who went on to go to the Super Bowl. You see a trend here?
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't. That is a trend. Wow.
So yeah, the Seahawks play the Falcons. I honestly do believe the winner of this game goes to the Super Bowl, and not just because of that stat. I just think both of these teams are, like I said, they both, in my opinion, they're both the two most the most balanced teams in the North in the NFC. And I think if the Falcons just get over that mentally weak position in the playoffs, I think they could be a threat. But whose turn is it now? Markeem? Yeah, it's Markeem's. Who's gonna win this game? Seahawks at Atlanta.
Look, man, I don't want to sound like the pessimist. I don't want to sound like, you just hate Matt Ryan and stuff. But bottom line, since he's been in college, man, this dude lets you down when you need him to play the best. And this will be another game. He's almost as bad as Romo with this shit. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
Yo, this will be another game where he plays well, I believe, and then the second half he just turns into someone else. I really believe that. Like, don't the Seahawks have the best defense against the pass this game?
Yeah.
And Julio Jones, the most overrated player in football, by the way, is very spotty. Very, very spotty. Some games, he is an unstoppable monster. Other games, it's like he's not even on the field. And I expect the Seahawks to totally take him away. I mean, I don't believe he's going to be that big of an... I believe Roddy White will go nuts. But I believe the Seahawks will accept that, you know what I mean, and just shut down Julio Jones. And I believe that Michael Turner will get too many carries like he has been all year because he is not the same player he used to be. And I just believe the Seahawks will be more up-tempo than they will, come out with more energy and beat them in the dome. Like, I don't see, honestly, of all the picks this weekend, that is the one I'm the most confident about. I believe the Seahawks win.
Phil?
No respect.
Do they deserve it? With their history in the playoffs?
Do they No, they don't. They don't. I'll be completely honest and sit here and say they don't deserve the respect. But somebody's gotta respect them, and I guess that's my role in this whole thing. I'm gonna be the one to respect this team. I think you got Tony Gonzalez 0-5 in playoffs. Falcons who can't seem to win in the playoffs and usually get embarrassed, especially these past 2 years. And then that stat, the winner goes on to the Super Bowl. I bet Seattle would love to hear that. I think Atlanta wins this game. I think Seattle. I will say this. I'll admit this. I think I liked. Or I didn't. I don't think. I know. I know I liked Atlanta's matchup better against the Redskins. So I'll say that. This game, I could see it. This game has that little feel where I feel like it might be closer than it should be, and then Matt Ryan decides to be the same old Matt Ryan. Who is like Fox?
I'm doing that. My bad.
Oh, okay. I was trying to.
Am I too loud? My bad.
Yeah. Sorry. But I just think the Falcons win this game. I think the Falcons prove once and for all. I may look like a fool, and if I do, oh well, I'll never pick the Falcons again. But I think this is the time to do it, and I think this is what they ride off of this momentum win, and they go into well, we all know I have them in the Super Bowl, but I think Atlanta wins this game, and I think that they finally get over that hump, and like Big Rat said, once you get over that hump, you can ask Peyton about that hump. When he got over the hump of beating the Patriots. So there you go.
That's a good point, by the way. But this is hard for me because midway through the season, I was telling people that this is going to be the same one and done Falcons teams. I'm going to drop 2 stats on you guys from FootballOutsiders.com. That one is going to convince you the Falcons will lose. The other one's going to convince you the Falcons will win. The thing is, before I do that, though, I must say that this team has been so disrespected. I mean, you both have to admit, has there ever been a more disrespected 1 seed in the history of the NFL?
Probably not. No. Definitely not.
And I'm not saying it's undeserved, but like when everyone says the 3 teams to beat in the NFC, it's the Packers, Niners, Seahawks. Maybe not in that order, but those are the 3 teams everyone thinks are going to win this conference, not the Falcons. It's kind of a little ridiculous that no one is giving them a shot. They're the favorites, barely. They're a 2-1. They're a 2-1 favorite. If you guys didn't know, which is almost nothing. It's in fact a 2-1 on the when you look on the other side. The Patriots are a 9-1 favorites, and the Broncos are also a 9-1 favorite, and the Falcons, the number 1 seed, are a 2-1 favorite. Which, wow. I mean, the Seahawks are playing well, but they're the number 1 seed. I thought they would at least get a 3 to 4 point cushion. But so
here's one. Before you go ahead. One thing I just noticed by looking at the Falcons schedule. I just remember this. A lot of reason for anyone that wants to jump on the Falcons thinking that they don't. There's a reason why they're not getting the hate. Here's the reason. They've beaten 2 playoff teams, Redskins and Denver was week 2.
Yep. No.
No one else they played made the playoffs. So.
And like they're like when you look at the Broncos, the Patriots, even the Colts. I mean, say what you want about the Colts. Do you guys realize the Colts beat 2 playoff teams? I mean, they beat the Texans and they beat the Packers. Oh, and they beat the Vikings.
Yeah, they beat 3.
Yeah,
so
they
got
beat
more
3.
than the Falcons.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've been so disrespected to the point that if they win, it honestly wouldn't shock me. Like last year, there wasn't a doubt in my mind, the Falcons are gonna fucking get destroyed. Like I said that they're gonna get destroyed, and they did. But it honestly wouldn't shock me because they've been so disrespected to see them maybe actually pull this one off. But here's 2 stats for you. Here's one for the Falcons. The Seahawks. I don't know if you guys knew this. FootballOutsiders.com, I explained it to Markeem, I think, the other day, has the stat called DVOA, which is defensive value. What the fuck does it stand for? Defensive value over adjusted teams or something like that. It basically measures your overall productivity compared to good teams and bad teams. Like if you have a good game against a bad team, they kind of minimize it. And if you have a good game against a great team, they maximize it. You understand?
Right.
It measures total football team efficiency. The team with the highest DVOA rating for 2012 was the Seahawks. 70% of the time, this team goes to the Super Bowl. But here's a stat for you. The Seahawks didn't win their division. And in the history, in like the past 20 years, of teams that were number one in DVOA but did not win their division, it was the 2008 Eagles and the 2008 Eagles and the 2010 Ravens. The 2009 Ravens. 2008 Eagles, the 2009 Ravens. They were number one in DVOA, but they didn't win their division. Okay. These two teams won a playoff game. The Ravens beat the Patriots, and the Eagles beat several people. The Eagles lost to the Cardinals, who went to the Super Bowl, and the Ravens lost to the Colts, who went to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's only two teams as evidence, but if history is going to repeat itself, this would show that not only will Seattle not go to the Super Bowl, but whoever beats them will go to the Super Bowl. That's why I really do think the winner of this game wins the NFC. That's why I'm like that confident about it. Not to mention the fact that I think both teams are really great. But here's the sad thing. For playoff odds, I don't know if I've read this to you guys yet. Atlanta is ranked 6th of 8th with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. 6th of 8th. The only two teams below them are the Ravens and the Texans. Like, it's Broncos 1, Patriots 2, Seahawks 3. Yeah. San Fran 4, Green Bay 5, Atlanta 6, Baltimore 7, Houston 8. And here's my stat for you.
Houston 8 kind of shocked me too.
Houston last week, Houston was of the 16 teams that were in it last week.
12.
12. Of the 12 teams that was in it last week, Houston was 10th. 10th. The only two teams below them were the Colts and Vikings, and the team right above them was the Redskins. So, but here's a stat for you: the Falcons have been in close games with teams below 500 6 times this season. Of teams that do that, 70% of the time they lose their first playoff game.
Oh, I remember you bringing that one up.
Yeah, I remember the Panthers game, the first Panthers game, the Raiders game, the Redskins game at first. They didn't finish below 500, but they were at the time. There are tons of games where they barely won against shitty teams. And, they almost lost to the Broncos, and Peyton threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter. Like, I think these Falcons are super talented, but...
Probably, what Peyton's worst game, would you say?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That was the game that Markeem questioned whether or not he could be playing in the NFL.
Right.
But I like the Falcons a lot. I love the Seahawks a lot. And it's on my record, Matt Ryan won't win a playoff game, and I'm sticking to that. Even though it wouldn't shock me if this is the year, and maybe if I wasn't already burned by Tony Romo, thinking that this was the year that Romo turns things around. So I'm done. I think the same thing happens. I think Matt Ryan fails, and you'll probably see a sad Matt Ryan face towards the end. But I got the Seahawks here. I think that's the only. Nope, we didn't all agree on it. We all agreed on the Broncos game. Next, we get to the Texans and the Patriots.
The big one.
Let me go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got the Patriots, man, but I'll say this. The only reason I am picking the Patriots, and I'm not going to say I'm confident about this, is because of Matt Schaub, man. Like, he just has got to play better. This team, legit, I would feel confident if I could trust him. If I could trust him. If he played better, I would pick the Texans in a heartbeat, because I do think they're more well rounded. I really do. But I'm just last time they played the Patriots, the offensive line did well against the Texans' defensive front, like the entire front seven. They did well enough. Gave Tom Brady enough time to get it out of his hand. And if you do that, then it's lights out. And I don't think that I don't think it'll be like that again. But I do think he'll make more plays than Matt Schaub. That's what's going to come down to. If you give me Tom Brady or Matt Schaub, I'm taking Tom Brady every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So I got the Patriots, man. It's going to be closer though. And I don't think it's going to be high scoring at all. I think it's going to be like around 20-17 or something like that.
Phil,
my turn. Yay! All right. Anyways, first of all, I just want to say all these people they're making me mad. I'm a Patriots fan. All these people that are saying this is going to be a blowout, don't watch pro football.
Yeah.
This is not like how many times I don't think I've ever. I can't think of a time right off the top of my head, anyways, where a team has been blown out in the regular season and then they get blown out again. The same team may win, but they don't. It just doesn't like. How many times does the game go the same way? Like it just teams. I mean, players adjust. Different things happen. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
That don't happen in sports, but
trade. I'll give Trademark a good plus. Because when I was going off of this on Twitter, he mentioned this, and this is a good example. The Patriots gave. I don't know the exact score, but allowed like 30-something, or the Giants allowed like 30-something points on the Patriots week 17 when they played them. They allowed 14 in the Super Bowl. 14. So that's. I mean, that's. It pains me to make that example, but I mean that's just. I'm trying to use one. So there, I use one that's unbiased. But I mean, this game's not gonna be a blowout. It's not. It's not saying it can't be a blowout. Things happen.
And honestly, I would say on both sides, like at any given moment.
Yeah, I mean, look at like people forget or people don't want to point this out, but the Patriots literally had a horrible game against the Niners. Like everything that could go wrong was going wrong. They had 4 turnovers. Patriots don't turn the ball. What in the world is... Y'all hear that?
I did hear you not being able to shut the fuck up.
Shut up. I hear an ad, and it's like...
No, I don't hear.
I don't hear it either.
This is annoying. Hold on, guys.
What is wrong with this boy?
I don't know, but I can't hear. Where's this ad coming from? Oh, I see it. Okay, sorry guys. That was awkward. All right, but yeah.
I want to throw a stat out there real quick too.
All right, go ahead.
I think what is it? I saw this earlier. I think it's the past 3 years or 4 years. The Patriots are plus 15 in turnover ratio.
Yes. Yeah. So
that's ridiculous.
So that's what I mean when I bring up the fact that when we gave up turnovers and still came back in the game against the Niners. I mean,
and I don't think I need to say that's the best in the NFL.
Right. Yeah. I think that should be a given. That some things are crazier than the others. But I mean, that's just what as far as what Houston has to do, and I think that they'll, the Patriots held the Texans to like, both Ben Tate and Aaron Foster had 46 yards each. I think the Texans improving that somewhat. I don't know. I mean, I think if anything, our run defense is better than our pass defense. That's obvious. So I mean, I'm not saying that we can't stop Aaron Foster again, but I do think Aaron Foster does better in this game. He has a better game. I wouldn't be shocked if we had 100 yards, win or lose. But my question is Schaub. I mean, that's another thing too. I think obviously I trust Brady more. And another thing, didn't have Rob Gronkowski in the first matchup. That's something.
Now Gronk's back.
Gronk's back. He's healthy. How did the Texans?
He was ready to come back like 3 weeks ago. They just kept him out for the playoffs.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that.
He played a little bit in the Dolphins game, but not a lot.
Yeah, he played. He had a touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. He had a touchdown, but it was like he had 2 catches and a touchdown. I don't know how much as far as plays he played.
But I mean, they pretty much just
right. That was just to get him warm, like make sure practice basically. I'm not saying not this year Dolphins big round. I'm just saying. But I mean, I think that's going to be a test. I mean, we saw Lloyd. Lloyd's had some good games, but I mean, he's not always the focal point. I mean, he's never the focal point of the offense. And I mean, he led that game. So I mean, if that can, I feel like they're going to have to shut down a lot of people for it to completely not be, Patriots offense doing good. So let's see what else is there. Anything else I wanted to say? Obviously, the defensive line, we held them good, and I mean, we had some offensive line issues then too. So, hopefully, now with everybody being as healthy as they can be, we can still hold off J.J. Watt. But I think that, not to bore everybody, talking about how great the Patriots are, but I think the Patriots do win this game, obviously. But I mean, we're not going to get in that whole spiel. But I think the Patriots win because I just think that. They're the better team, and I think that they're off. I like the Patriots mainly, to be honest. I like the Patriots' offense more than I like the Texans' offense. That's just being real. And I think that they get it done, and I think that the Patriots move on to face Denver in the AFC Championship game.
Or Baltimore. Don't be disrespecting the Ravens.
Right, or Baltimore. But there's one thing I do want to bring up, and this hurts my Patriots as well. And Big Rat, I think, has in the past brought this up. Since 2004, only one number 1 playoff seed, the New Orleans Saints, and one number 2 playoff seed has won the Super Bowl. Since then, since 2005, 13 of 28 teams seeded 1 or 2 in the playoffs have lost their initial playoff game in the division.
Who was the number 2? The Colts?
The Steelers. I skipped that part. It was the Steelers. Number 2 playoff seed was the 2008 Steelers. But one thing I want to say, and I know we don't make full through playoff picks or whatever, but I do want to say if Brady or Manning or Roethlisberger has been represented in the AFC in the last 11 years.
Yep.
So if you're gonna win, to me, I think the only way it's just history. Like you like to talk about history, I think the only way history allows another AFC team to go to the Super Bowl is if you go through Brady and Manning. Like I really think they're gonna have to whoever. If it's not Brady or Manning going to the Super Bowl, that team is gonna have to play in both.
So that would be.
So if the Texans beat the Patriots, then they would have to beat the Broncos as well.
All right.
I didn't say that, but anyways.
You can get that silly dream up. I tell you that shit right. If they get past the Patriots, you can give up that dream of them beating the Broncos. Kid, you crazy. That shit ain't. Both of them. That shit ain't about to happen. Promise you that. I put my balls on that. That ain't gonna happen.
That's what I'm saying. But that's crazy. But I'm telling you, that's the only way. Same thing. If the Ravens beat the Broncos, they're going to have to go and beat the Patriots.
Or
that ain't happening either. That and I love the Ravens, but that ain't happening either. They can give up that dream.
You sure about that?
I'm positive about that.
I think even Phil would agree. No team has owned the Patriots more the past 4 years than the Baltimore Ravens.
No, I would not agree with that.
Who owned them more? Give me a team.
Own them more than Giants?
Well, I meant 4 years. Okay, aside from the Giants.
But they've beaten the Ravens in the regular season, so you can't say they've owned them.
No, but the Ravens have won 3 of the past 4 meetings. I'm saying the Ravens give the Patriots the most trouble of any other team besides the Giants.
Okay.
But back to back, hell no, that shit ain't happening. No. Kill that dream.
I'm gonna put it on Markeem's record. I will
put my balls on the line. Which is why I said if the Patriots don't make it to Super Bowl, the Broncos are making it.
I will put my balls on the line.
That's right.
No team will beat Brady and Manning back to back.
We'll have our first on-camera video as we cut his balls off.
I'm calling you out on this, Markeem. Don't think I'll forget about this.
Go ahead, Big Red.
All right.
That's my Patriots. It's your turn.
All right, he's picking the Texans. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, but even though I really do need to talk about this one for a little bit. Listen, it's no secret. I mean, it's not because I hate the Patriots. If it was Texans-Broncos, I would pick the Texans purely because I had them in the Super Bowl, and I'm sticking by that. Like, do I really fully believe it? I'm not sure. I think the Broncos are the best team, but I want to stick with my regular season prediction. And that's what drives this pick, not the fact that Big Rat hates the Patriots. But I will be honest with you all. Of the 8 teams remaining, I love 6 of them. Like I've always been a big Niners fan. I've said it on the show. I've been saying since like 2008 that the Niners were a head coach away from going to the NFC title game. I've been saying that for a long time. That's why every year I pretty much picked them to come second in the division.
Well, I thought they were a quarterback and a head coach away.
Well, but we saw last year that the great Harbaugh was enough.
That's true.
So I've always been a big Niners fan. Obviously, I love Peyton Manning. Obviously, I love my Texans. Always been a big Ravens fan for the represent. I've always liked the Seahawks. I was pulling for them to get into the playoffs when they were 7-9, even though I knew it would hurt the NFL. But I didn't care. I was pulling for them, and I was so happy when they beat the Saints. I think they got robbed out of that Super Bowl. A lot of people don't talk about that. I mean, I know you look at the score and say, "Oh, they lost by 10 points."
Yeah, it was some questionable calls.
There were.
What now?
The Seahawks Steelers Super Bowl. I mean, they got their first touchdown. The Steelers defender completely pushed off their wide receiver, and the wide receiver pushed him back ever so slightly. And they called it...
And they called pass interference. I remember that.
They called it offensive pass interference when it was fucking ridiculous, and they took away a touchdown. There's Ben Roethlisberger's goal line touchdown that wasn't a touchdown. I mean, if you look at the replay, it's very evident. He doesn't get in, and then after he's already tackled, he moves the ball from the 1-yard line to the goal line. And the referees reviewed it and still called it a touchdown, which was bullshit. And there's also a call that no one talks about where the Matt Hasselbeck threw a 60-yard pass that their receiver caught on the 3-yard line. But one of the Steelers linemen jumped off sides, and the Seattle offensive lineman was holding him because he jumped off sides, and the referees didn't call off sides; they called offensive holding and took back the 80-yard play. Like,
I remember that.
They had a lot of bad luck. I thought that game was total bullshit. I was really mad. I really thought the Seahawks should have won. So I've been kind of like rooting for them to get back to that spot. And the Falcons, I may have shit on them in the playoffs, but I've always thought they were a super talented team. I was a big fan of them that first year with Matt Ryan and Mike Smith. I like the Falcons. My best friend loves them. So I have respect to the Falcons. The Packers, I don't love. I don't hate. I love Aaron Rodgers. I was so happy.
That's a bad man right there.
I was so happy when they beat the Steelers in that Super Bowl because my uncle's a big Steelers fan and he's always been really obnoxious about the Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers was like my savior that shut him up for another season. So I was very, very happy with the Packers. So I like the Packers. And obviously it's no surprise. I hate the New England Patriots more than any other franchise in all of sports.
Really?
Yes.
More than the Yankees?
Yes, more than FSU, more than Ohio State.
Oh, man, me and you can't agree there. The Yankees are the worst.
Legitimately, the New England Patriots, I can't describe my passion for their hatred.
Well, hold on, I take that back. I don't hate the Yankees. I hate trademark. My bad, I hate their fans. My bad, I hate their fans. My bad, let me not say it. I hate their fans.
That was a great quote.
You need to just title this the Trademark Burial Show.
But look, I hate Ohio State with a burning passion because I may hate Ohio State as much, okay? But I hate the Patriots so much.
Correction. The team I hate the most in all the sports is Tar Heels basketball. There you go. My bad.
There you go.
Forgot.
But the New England Patriots, I can't describe it. It's almost unhealthy. It's almost a mental disorder. I just have this burning hatred whenever I see them on the field.
It's a mental disorder, all right.
I don't root for anything more than for them to lose. Right now, honestly, priority number 1 is Patriots lose. Priority number 2 is Peyton gets a ring. Priority number 3, Texans win the Super Bowl. In that order. Priority number 1 is Patriots lose.
For the record, my most hated team is not the Dolphins.
Okay, and I respect you, but you have to understand that.
Well, there hadn't been much of a thread, for then
I don't even know who my most hated team would be right now. It used to be the Colts with Peyton.
I just think
it's probably the Ravens. Phil be getting mad about the Ravens.
Yeah, it is the Ravens.
Okay.
There's always a bad call. I'm not going to get started.
All right, let me say this, and Phil, please let me finish before you don't have to retort in if you don't want. I mean, I think you're going to want to, but please let me finish my whole statement before you retort in.
Okay.
I think
Don't I always listen?
The New England Patriots.
Unless you say something crazy.
Yeah. I do not think the Patriots are the most overrated team in football. That's ridiculous. But I do think they are one of the most overrated teams in football because every single year they're the favorites to win the Super Bowl just because they have Brady and they have Belichick.
Whoa. I'm going to stop you right there because they're not the favorites to win this year's Super Bowl.
Okay, before the season. Before
it's clearly the Broncos. Everybody is saying.
Before the season, people was acting like it was a foregone conclusion that they beat their game.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you the before the season. Right.
And before the season, every season, and Phil, I mean every season when Brady is healthy since 2002. Every season, I have to hear people say...
I don't know about since 2002. I don't know about that long.
After that second Super Bowl. Sorry.
Okay, I get you that, yeah.
Every single season, they're the number one team.
Rightfully so, too. But
no, not rightfully so. They haven't won in 8 years.
It doesn't matter. They still... What?
They've been...
He's saying solely because they have Belichick and Brady. People just ignore the other flaws they may have and just say, these dudes are going to Super Bowl. That's lame.
My point is, I don't see a problem with them being in the conversation. That's my point.
No, it's when they're the number one. It's when they're the number one. Because let me tell you this stat. Since your last Super Bowl, you realize the Steelers have won twice as many Super Bowls as you have and have been in 3 as you have been in 2. And they won 2 of those 3. You lost 2 of those 2. That's what pisses me off.
And every year people ain't saying they got Big Ben, so they gonna win the. You know what I mean? Like it's like
because it's Big Ben.
I mean, but like he's saying that people ignore every other thing about the team solely because they have Brady, and that's not cool.
No, I understand that.
You guys know, like maybe why I might get on RG3 at times. I hate when people get praise that they don't deserve, and maybe sometimes that translates into me being disrespectful to RG3.
All the time, by the way.
But like that's my mentality. I can't stand it. I can't stand overratedness. I really can't. Like it's the thing that boils my like that's one of the reasons why I hate FSU, not just because they're our rivals.
Whoa. Watch your mouth.
You realize every year this is a projected top 5 team that I think has won the ACC once in the past 8 years.
I thought you was about to go back to the Bowden era. I was gonna slap you.
Okay, no. I'm just saying that. Not just because the Patriots are in my division. The fact that every fucking year they're the automatic favorites to win the Super Bowl, no matter what, for a crown they have not earned in 8 years, drives me insane. And I hate them so much every time they're on the field. Like I told you, it's kind of sad that Peyton Manning, my favorite football player of all time, the Texans, my second favorite team, my adopted team, like them winning the Super Bowl is not as important as the Patriots losing. Like it's that much of a mental disorder that I will.
And you remember how long it took us to get him to admit that he just hates the Patriots?
Right.
Okay, but at the same time, okay, yes, the Rams pick, that was going too far.
Thank you for bringing that back up. Thank you.
But all the other games, come on, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Texans, the Niners, that wasn't ridiculous to think the Patriots would lose those games. The Patriots should have lost to the Dolphins, and I picked them to beat the 49ers. Like, honestly, it's
yeah, but 90% of the time it'd be your hate that drives you picks.
Remember, we only covered them when they had a game against like a playoff team.
Or a division game.
Yes. So, like, I mean, come on. This team almost lost to the Jets this year. Like, this team almost lost to the Bills this year. This team almost lost to the Dolphins this year. They almost lost to the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars. And this was the
So did the Texans.
No, yep. True. But this dynasty, this 12-4 powerhouse is the automatic favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. And people say, like, this has been the best Patriots teams in years. And I will agree, actually. I do think it's better than last year's team. I will say that. I don't know if everybody agrees.
I agree. I
will say that.
I think it's the best. I think it's the best team in years.
But I will say this though.
They finally played defense.
Yeah, they're finally playing.
This is also coincidentally the worst record this team has had in years and years since the year that Brady got injured and they didn't make the playoffs. Like this is the worst record this team has had since that year. And I agree that they're the best team, but it's not like it's blatantly obvious in front of our faces that this team is the dynasty, the powerhouse, the Patriots. Like, their defense is still weak. Vince Wilfork is still a baller. University of Miami, you're welcome, by the way. But just saying that...
Oh, shut the fuck up.
It's not my fault that University of Miami has more NFL talent than any other school in the past 10 years. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. You can't deny that.
Every time a player now says the U, I think of you, and I'm like...
But, Phil, it's dominance. They have the most talent in the NFL than any other school in the past 10
years. Well, if it's dominance, why they ain't won a national championship in 11 fucking years?
They suck.
You realize that Jimmy Graham,
Don't make this
a talent
about Miami.
2 years ago, is a badass in the NFL. The presence of the University of Miami has a lot to do with the NFL being successful.
11 years. 11 years.
You do realize that we had the streak last year of most weeks with a touchdown by a UM player, 150. Second place, 14.
You do realize y'all ain't won shit in 11 years.
I also realized we had 2 quite awful coaches back to back, but it's cool.
Yeah, actually, you had 3. Let's include Larry Coco garbage ass.
What, you think Golden is a bad coach?
He's all right.
All right. So all right, so back to the Patriots-Texans game. Obviously, you would think on paper this is my dream game. My baby team in the Texans, and the team I hate so much. The Patriots losing almost gives me as much joy as the Dolphins winning. Not the same. Dolphins winning
God
still.
Damn, is that bad, kid?
Dolphins winning still gives me more. There's no doubt about it. but the Patriots losing is close. Like, I hate them.
God
I
damn.
hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I fucking hate them so much. And through all that, I really do think that this is a typical Patriots game. I really do think, my gut is just telling me that this is a typical game that they lose. That this is a typical game where they go in overconfident, they don't start off on the right foot, and they get beat by a team they're better than. That's what happened with the Jets 2 years ago. That's what happened with the Giants in 2007. And decent chance it happens again. Like, I mean, I've brought this up 10,000 times, but it's true. The Jets in 2010, they blew them out in Foxborough 45-3. And then they lost.
Inexplicably. Inexplicably. That is true.
Also, though, I want to say this team is a lot more disciplined too than when they played against the Jets.
But I think Belichick's formula. I mean, this team is better, but it's not that much different. Yeah, Stephen really can run the ball, fine, but their secondary is still weak. You know, their receivers still rely on Brady, and I love Welker, but I honestly think that his talent is highly overplayed. I think
I'll kill you. Shut up. Kill you.
This is from someone that had Wes Welker on his team and saw him every week. You think when he went from Dolphins to Patriots, he all of a sudden turned into a superstar? No, he had a fucking quarterback throwing him the ball.
I think he was always a superstar. He just didn't have no quarterback.
Yeah, he was talented in Miami. He was not even on simple route runnings that he would do. He was not.
I disagree, kid. You ain't gonna sway me on this.
Right,
Wes Welker's a bad man. That's a bad man. That's a bad little white dude right there. I'm telling you.
All right. Okay, Bill Belichick. We'll see about that. But at the end of the day, this Belichick team is still almost exactly the same as every Belichick team the past 6 years. Like, the format is almost identical. And it hasn't worked. It hasn't won. It hasn't won. And he hasn't changed it. It's the same format. And they still haven't won a Super Bowl in the past 6 years. It's the same format. So why do I think all of a sudden we'll win this year? Because that format is stronger? It still hasn't worked. The team last year I didn't think was as good as the team the year before. When the team the year before, when Brady won the MVP award, I legitimately thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl. I was pretty confident. And it pained me, but I was confident. And the team last year I thought was worse than the team the year before that. But this formula is the same formula, and if the Patriots do what the Patriots do, get overconfident and lose to a team that they think that they're so high and mighty over, they'll lose. And the Texas D-line has been playing much better lately. I think they'll put a lot more pressure on Brady like they couldn't do last time. I think they'll be better prepared this time. And like I told you guys, Kubiak in the playoffs. The Texans should have beat the Ravens last year. They looked like the better team. They lost by a touchdown, and Jacoby Jones fumbled the kickoff, and TJ Yates threw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter. And they still only lost by a touchdown. Like, the Kubiak is a good playoff coach. But I do agree, this game is on Schaub. This game is on Schaub, who has looked bad the past few weeks. But let me give you a stat. Before the Patriots game, the Texans were 4th in overall offense and 5th in points allowed.
This I know.
After the Patriots game, they were 27th in overall offense and 30th in points allowed. But this is what the Texans do. Because last season, they were losing out the rest of the games as well. Last season, they lost their last 3 games of the season against the fucking Colts, the team that got the first pick in the draft. And then this season, they lost 3 of their last 4. And in the playoffs, they beat the Bengals. And Kubiak last year in the second round proved to be a decisive head coach. And he should have won had he had a better quarterback. And he has a better quarterback this year. So it's not just...
But that's what's going to happen. They're going to should have won it again.
No, so it's not just bias, guys. Like, honestly, history repeats itself. I've been saying that the whole playoffs.
So they're going to come up short.
History with the Texans has gone exactly how it went last year. When the conditions were the same. Can you listen to me?
Yes, so they're going to lose.
I'm just saying, what you're saying makes no sense.
No, you dumbass, you fucking moron. Listen.
No, you name caller or what?
History repeats itself when the conditions are the same.
Oh, bull, this is a load of crap.
Last year the Texans had the number 1 seed, but lost out and lost it. This year they had the number 1 seed, lost out, lost it. Played the Bengals in the first round, beat them handedly. This year, second round, they don't have TJ Yates. The condition is different.
You're saying that they will play a great game.
Yeah.
But this time they have a quarterback, so things will be different. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I honestly believe that.
We'll see. We'll see. You're saying it's impossible they play a bad game this weekend. That's what you're saying.
I think Schaub. I really do think that Kubiak delivers. I mean, in the playoffs. I mean, this Bengals defense isn't a bad defense. They're the number one blitzing team in the NFL. They're like 14th or 10th in points allowed. The Bengals, the Colt Texans drove on them at will. They drove on them at will. I mean, they had 5 scoring possessions. 5. They drove on them at will. I don't think the Patriots defense is that much better than the Texans. It probably isn't, actually. Vince Wilfork isn't better than Geno Atkins. And Leon, they don't have any corners near the size of the talent of Leon Hall. So will you get that Matt Schaub pick 6 this time? And they drove on the Bengals defense at will. They drove on the Bengals defense at will. So why wouldn't they drive on this Patriots defense at will? That's not as good.
Because they haven't done it.
So Markeem, what I'm saying is not ridiculous. Like, I know I hate the Patriots.
Yeah, it's not ridiculous. It's not.
I know I hate the Patriots and I love the Texans. So everyone will just think that I'm picking the Texans. The Texans' history and the fact of what they did last week. And, at least last time, I was like, okay, they did this to the Bengals. They ain't going to do this to the fucking Ravens. But they did it to the fucking Ravens. But, like I said, we'll find out. Am I completely confident in my pick? No. But I honestly think I'm not the least confident in this one. The one I'm the least confident in is probably the Niners. But, or the Seahawks. The Seahawks is probably the one I'm least confident in.
Not me. That's the one I'm most confident in.
My least confident pick is not the Texans beating the Patriots. But obviously, I'm not saying that I guarantee it will happen. I'm not saying that I'm sure it will happen. I'm not even saying that I'm confident. But it's not shaky to the point that, I'm barely picking the Texans. No, I'm solidly picking the Texans to win this game. And I pray to God that next week Phil can come on this show and tell us exactly his recap of the New England Patriots 2000.
If they lose, that's going to be the best show we ever record, ever.
Ever.
Oh my God! Can you imagine Phil on that show? Phil, I'm gonna laugh at you. That I ain't gonna lie to you.
You know how I'm gonna be?
I can't wait till the AFC Championship game. Is that how you're gonna be? Phil, is he trying to place?
No, that's how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be quiet.
No, but they gonna have to come with their best game, though. Seriously, they gonna have to come for real. And Matt Schaub cannot stink it up, man. I really believe they both will play well, and it's gonna come down to Schaub versus Brady, and I'm taking Brady all day in that.
Then again,
bad man.
And I don't know about that, but 3 days on Sunday.
Then again, 2 years ago, you would think Brady, Mark Sanchez. Oh, that's fucking easy. Well, it didn't go down like that.
Well, the Patriots didn't. The Patriots also didn't play their best game, though.
But you know what?
To be fair,
you know what, Big Rat? If the Patriots want to win another Super Bowl, they're gonna have to do something they ain't done. So there you go.
So that's my pick. And again, we'll see next week. And the sad thing is, I might not even be able to see the game. I'm gonna be in Tallahassee this weekend. I'm driving back Sunday because I can't. I have no choice. Now, I wasn't sure whether or not to leave at the start of the Seahawks-Falcons game. It's like an 8-hour drive for me, so I'd miss the whole Falcons game, and then I'd catch the Texans game. But the more I think about it, there's no way around it. I'm going to miss the Texans game, so I might just stay there for the whole Seahawks-Falcons game and then leave after that, so at least I can see that one. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. In my car, my friend has the Android, which has the tethering, which has Wi-Fi. So I'll have Wi-Fi in the car. Hopefully I'll be able to watch some of the game. I doubt the streaming video is going to be very good quality, seeing as how you're trying to fucking stream a video in a fucking car, for crying out loud.
Go, just cut on ESPN radio and listen.
I don't want to listen. I want to watch.
I mean, if you can, you got to do what you got to do.
I know. The radio will be on, although my friends might not be too happy about that, because of the 4 of us that are going, 2 of us are huge football fans. The other 2 don't care. So I don't think they'll
be all right. Bring a fucking
that'd be okay. That'd be okay.
So but on my laptop, I honestly think I could, I remember on the way to Tallahassee last time, I saw the whole 4th quarter of the FSU Virginia Tech game. But that was a fucking kind of meaningless game because it's college football.
Okay, kid, okay.
But this is the Patriots Texans in the playoffs. I mean, the demand for this video is probably going to be a lot higher. It's probably going to be more what's the word? More people are going to be watching, so the stream quality might not be very good. It might cut out a lot, but I'm going to do everything I fucking can to see this game. Trust me. And I'm going to record it at home, and I'm going to watch the whole game. If the Texans win, I'm watching that whole game when I come back.
You know if the Patriots win, you ain't watching that crap.
No, if it's close, I'll probably watch
That's the
it.
same thing I told. I said, there's no way I could record it but also follow it up because I won't go back and watch it if we lose. I mean, that's just no. I can't take that hurt. I mean, I'm just being straight up with you.
So
this is a trap game, though. It is kind of. The more we talk about it, more uneasy it's making me.
Why do you think I don't? Why it's bothered me that everybody is picking the Patriots?
So we'll see. A lot of.
And I probably have to watch the game on delay. So watch out, Twitter world at like 11 o'clock for my results.
I'm gonna tweet everything at you, Phil. Oh, I got an interception.
Well, I'll be turning.
Nightmare10.
My phone will be off and the computer will be nowhere near me. So, especially when I'm watching the game, I just So I'll probably be 3 hours behind if I end up deciding to do that, but we'll see.
So our final picks, you both have Broncos over Ravens, Packers over Niners, Patriots over Texans. Markeem, you have Seahawks over Falcons. Phil, Falcons over Seahawks. I have Broncos over Ravens, 49ers over Packers, Seahawks over Falcons, Texans over Patriots. I could finish 1-3. I could finish 4-0. Honestly, it's that type of week. But it's the playoffs.
You can finish 0-4. You never know.
It's the playoffs, man. It's the playoffs. You just, as we all say, I'm pretty sure you both agree, you just never know in the playoffs.
On any given Sunday or any given Saturday.
So, that'll do it for us today. Thank you very much for listening to Take. I was Big Rat 310.
Nightmareballa1.
And I'm yours truly, Nightmare.
And,
go Pats! Woo!
Go Texans, baby. And one of us two is probably going to be crying next week on this show.
That's a bad man. That's all I'll say.
That's a bad man. Tom
And
Brady,
we're out.
son.
Goodbye.